parade? Who cares? Joe Show. There's a 2-mile wait to get past the damn green line.
Anyone who gets scared by a bear in the neighborhood, call Joe Murray.
I happen to trust Joe Murray.
First time I ever met Joe Murray was...
This is Joe Murray's program, but no Joe tonight. Sean Sylver here, and you there. James Scaramazino at the controls as we take this thing till 11 o'clock here in the city of Boston. Boston? We're off to a start. I was thinking, I'm saying here in the city of Boston, which probably, right, given the population, over 600,000, 700,000 people in Boston. That's a good chunk of the state's population. So probably most of the listeners, the most listeners per municipality, probably Boston, but we're broadcasting from Waltham. So that's where my brain went. Just in case you needed the inside baseball there. Speaking of baseball, and again, Sean Sylver, Skaz. Christina's in tonight, and you at 617-779-0985. I am on Twitter at the Sylver Fox, Sylver with a Y. The All-Star Game. Tonight's the Home Run Derby. We got the All-Star Game coming from Texas tomorrow night. As you heard at the top there, I'm in the time machine. I've transported Skaz in the time machine, Christina in the time machine. We're going back to 1999 tonight. Why? Well, it's one of my favorite pastimes. That, for me, is a top 3, probably, Red Sox season of my life. Tough to put in order. Would 2004 have been the best just because of what happened? Maybe. 99 was close for me. And the reason? Pedro, Nomar, a cast of characters, and the All-Star Game was at Fenway Park. For the first time since 1961, it returned to Fenway that year in 99, and we haven't had it here since. In fact, the 90s, a fertile time for All-Star games to visit Boston. In 96, you had the NHL All-Star Game at the brand new then Fleet Center, and in 99, you had it at the Lyric Little Bandbox, Fenway Park. I think it's time we get one again. The Rangers had one in the 90s. They built a new ballpark, and they got one. That's generally what happens. The Colorado Rockies built Coors Field in the 90s, got an All-Star Game. They've had another one recently. The Guardians also hosted the 90s. They got another one recently. The Braves had it in 2000. So a mere 24 years ago, they built a new ballpark. They're getting one. Phillies hosted in 96 at the Vet. They're getting another. It's time for another Major League Baseball All-Star Game at Fenway Park before the end of the decade. People lament the change of baseball. It's not exciting anymore. Well, maybe the pitch clock and the steals brought some excitement back, but people feel a detachment from what used to draw them to baseball. And more, we need to rely on our history. Let's bring an All-Star Game back to Fenway Park. Does the ownership care? I don't know. Should be a priority to them. 25 years ago this week, the All-Star Game came to Fenway Park, and man, that was awesome. I didn't even go. James Stewart talking in the previous segment there with Matt McCarthy. He went. A few years ago, I did a little retrospective. I would call it the definitive article, an oral history of the 1999 All-Star Game at Fenway Park. You can find it on 985thesportshub.com if you just Google that. Google me. I interviewed some people here from the station who were at the Fan Fest at the Heinz Convention Center. It was described to me by Dan Roche, fan favorite around here, as 24/7 baseball. He got to tape an interview that week with Ted Williams. We've all been talking, and just lost Willie Mays. Hank Aaron passed away a few years ago. Some of the greats have been falling off in the last 4 or 5 years. Tom Sylver, Bob Gibson, right? Guys who were there. That was the all-century year for MLB. All of the greats came out and were introduced over the public address prior to the All-Star game. It was a scene. It was meaningful. The Derby was just incredible theater, despite the fact that it wasn't even, all that good after the first round. Just an incredible scene. And then Pedro Martinez, as you heard there at the top, went to the hill and demolished some of the greats of our game. As McCarthy said, Barry Larkin, Hall of Famer. Larry Walker, I don't necessarily agree, but Hall of Famer. I'm a small hall guy. Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire, or as Ted Kennedy said, Sammy Sosa and Mike McGuire. Probably should be Hall of Famers. Circumstances. Struck him out. Matt Williams, who I interviewed for the piece, grounded it to Robbie Alomar. He muffs it. He gets on. Jeff Bagwell comes up. Hall of Famer. Strike him out. Throw him out. Double play. 6 up, 6 down, sort of. 5 by strikeout. Martinez is... The place is freaking electric. I want that buzz. And you know what? This year's team has been giving you a little bit of a buzz over at the ballpark. The metrics are different now. We're not in the, in '99 you weren't either. There was no sellout streak at the time. You could still walk up and get tickets. It was a different time. But that '99 Red Sox team with Pedro and Nomar was exciting. They had a little something to them. And it wasn't just Pedro and Nomar. It was Jimmy Williams. It was some of the unsung heroes. Got them to the ALCS against the Yankees when the Yankees were at the height of their powers. They had a little something. When the chips were down, the superstars delivered, but the rest of them had a little something. I feel that about this year's team. Maybe not quite the same level of superstars, but there's some rookies and guys you never heard of who've been showing up. That is the kind of team I can get behind. So when you're in this little pocket here, right? Little mid-July break in the rhythm, the Big Four have got nothing doing, right? No NFL. Training camp is a couple weeks away. NBA, we're talking about the Olympics. NHL, free agency is kind of quieted down. No training camps, no games, no real free agency madness right now. In 1999, that meant that Boston was the center of the sports universe. In the middle of July, we're not talking about a January AFC championship game. We're not talking about the NBA Finals, the Bruins blowing a shot at the Stanley Cup, which happens often in May or June. Not even an October World Series game. Not a Sox-Yankees game that, regular season game back in the day that felt like life or death. We're talking about the sports world went on pause, and all eyes were on Fenway Park. I want that again. Is that selfish? Maybe. But again, baseball needs to rely on tradition. It's one thing they got going. Fenway was lit. It was high drama, the highest theater, and it all happened this week 25 years ago. I don't know if the All-Star game even really means anything anymore, and I don't care. I mean, it's a midsummer showcase. If we can just treat it as such, and if you're a Seamhead, you like watching it, and if it's coming to your town, you're really excited. I want that excitement back. Hey, you know what? I also want the national media to blow a gasket about Boston getting something. I think the ownership should make this a priority. It was a different time, a different ownership group of the Red Sox. It was the Yawkey Trust. I interviewed John Harrington 5 years ago for that piece. The Sox were 10th in payroll that year. They were definitely a mid-market team. It was a different vibe over at Fenway Park. But the prospect of the All-Star game was huge. Dan Duquette, GM of the team at the time, said it was going to be the biggest party that Fenway ever had. It was. It was. It was a decade moment for the 90s. Think about the 90s in Boston sports. That was a decade moment. The 96 Pats, after the 1990 Bruins, the 96 Pats, the only team to make a title round. Nobody won one. A lot of times things were going pretty bad with the teams. But you had Pedro Martinez, you had Nomar, you had the 1999 All-Star game. It was freaking huge. We haven't even gotten to the part about Ted Williams as the featured guest. But that's where I'm opening up. You got any memories of 1999? Where were you 25 years ago? I was in high school. That was an awesome season. The All-Star game, right smack in the middle, made it even more satisfying and fun and great to be a baseball fan in this city. I feel like Fenway deserves another one. Worked incredibly well the last time. Let's do it again. We'll hear from you at 617-779-0985. Sean Sylver here till 11, here for Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. More Joe. on the Sports Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, he wore the Red Sox uniform for 22 years. He wore the uniform of the United States Marines for 4.5 more. He owned left field at this very ballpark. He was the last man to hit 400 in a season, and he did it 58 years ago. He hit 521 home runs, including one on his last at-bat. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the greatest hitter that ever lived, number 9, Hall of Famer, baseball legend, Ted Williams.
Sean Sylver in for Joe Murray on a Monday night, July 15th. And the sports world kind of goes to bed for a little bit. WNBA not even playing tonight. Just finished up Wimbledon. We had some wild soccer stuff over the weekend. And, you know, if you care to, you can turn your eyes to the Home Run Derby tonight. But the All-Star game. Is it a midsummer classic? I don't know. Yes, no, maybe. Your mileage may vary. But man, was it cool when it was here. I think it's time to do it again. Let's do it again. It's been 25 years. And you heard there the introduction of Ted Williams as we do the Where Were You in 1999 theme for this first hour here. Ted Williams, I mentioned they did the all-century team, which was so cool to see those greats, the players even going out, you know, getting as many signatures as they could. They did an in-game interview with Tom Sylver on Fox. Tom Sylver, one of the all-time greats. Tom Sylver was just like, look at all the autographs I got, showing them off. Jim Rice was going around, you know, would eventually be a Hall of Famer. He was getting signatures. And then, you know, Yaz was at first base. Yaz was kind of one of the last ones introduced for the players in the field. And Yaz famously forgot his hat. There was a story that I guess he put it down and he meant to give it to a fan, and then it was gone. I don't know if that was true or not, but Yaz well received. And then in the golf cart, out comes Teddy Ballgame. And, you know, just hearing Ed Brickley, the public address guy at the time, make that introduction. You know, Ted Williams, baseball hero, war hero. Couldn't really ask for much more in an American than Ted Williams. And it was kind of the last big public outing for Teddy Ballgame. He would pass 3 years later. He got out there, sat in the golf cart, you know, talked to, my gosh, they gathered around Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, Ken Griffey, Cal Ripken. Tony Gwynn was a good friend of Ted's, of course, you know, a consummate hitter, right? A challenger to the 400 mark. And, of course, Nomar. I think one of the things Ted said to Nomar was, I'm sorry I missed your party. We got to hang out more. Just a magic moment. Then Williams gets up, throws out a first, you know, kind of wobbly, throws out a first pitch to Carlton Fisk, who catches it, and, you know, the place explodes. Very cool. And I mentioned Ed Brickley, who made that announcement of Ted's arrival. And he mentioned a couple of things. He said the control room at Fenway was small. I was in there with a bunch of people. There were people from the pregame military presentation. Kevin Costner was there. I got through the introduction of Ted. It was very emotional. I turned around. The military personnel were wiping tears off their cheeks. That's one thing I guess I would have in common with various military personnel who were there. I, too, get the tears on my cheeks when I watch that moment. Brickley continued, Fox TV had the game that year. There was a person assigned by MLB who coordinated ballpark communications. He had a timetable. Because of the way the players gathered around Ted, it was coming into his commercial time. He said to me, make the announcement. He said, Ed goes, this is history. I'm not going to make any announcement right now. Fox guy asked me again and I said, this is never going to happen again. Probably went on another 30 seconds. It seemed like a long time. And finally he says, if you don't make the announcement, I'm going to get somebody else to do it. So Brickley begrudgingly asked the players to return to their places so Ted could throw out the first pitch, and they just kept it. Just the adulation was palpable at home plate. What a cool moment. Pedro Martinez as well got to meet Ted Williams. John Harrington tells the story. Pedro's down the field accepting the MVP award, and Ted goes, I'd never met Pedro. I'd love to meet him. So they called down. Pedro came up to meet Ted Williams. They started talking about, hitting. They started talking about pitching. Ted was admiring Pedro's long fingers, saying how he could have been a great piano player. Asking about the mechanics of throwing the breaking ball. And Pedro gets his autograph. And he said, "Thank you. This is more valuable to me than the MVP trophy." Just a couple of, consummate professionals talking about the game. The game probably used to mean a lot more to a lot more people. Sure, I get it. But what a cool moment. Those circumstances never going to be around again. All right? So if you bring back an All-Star game to Fenway, you're not gonna really have those opportunities. Ted Williams no longer here. Obviously, if the Red Sox were hosting, would you have a right-handed pitcher who could strike out the entire world on the bump for that game? No, not really. But it would be cool. It would be fun. I'd like to see it. Where does it rank for this ownership group to bring another All-Star game to Fenway Park? Will be cool to find out. But just midsummer must-see TV was the All-Star game in '99. I lapped it all up like a dog with a bowl. And, I know a lot of my friends did, and I know some people who went, and it was madness. Just wall-to-wall baseball. And the derbies tonight, we'll definitely get to that. Do have a couple of calls lined up, and you can join as well at 617-779-0985. We got Paul and Ray. Let's start with Paul and Dedham. Paul, how are you?
I'm well. How you doing?
Doing well.
Yeah, that was a great All-Star game for those of us who are a little bit older will remember that was fantastic. I happened to be up in the Hood blimp that night. There was 5 blimps flying. The Budweiser blimp was kind of going back and forth and had the camera, but the Hood was there, the Goodyear was there, Monster.com, and I believe Tommy Hilfiger were all circling the number 9. If you remember, they put the star in there, and then they carved Ted Williams number 9 in there, and then the American and the Canadian flags, and it was quite a sight to look down and see.
Yeah, I can imagine, Paul. That's quite a viewpoint. By any chance, do you remember the flyover?
No, so we had to pull out of the way. So when the flyover happened, they put us over. I think it was over by the Science Museum over to Charles. They did the flyover. I was going to say you
got to make room for that. That was that flyover was pretty intense, if I remember that.
Yeah, a non All-Star game thing though. The Ryder Cup was in Brookline in '99 as well.
Yes, Ryder Cup was.
I flew over that in the blimp as well. My friend would just call me. What are you doing? Nothing. You want to fly over the All-Star game? Yeah, sure.
Paul, you had the hookup. Thanks for sharing. Hope Paul has a good night there. Yeah, summer of '99, Ryder Cup in Brookline. We just had the U.S. Open a couple of years ago, right? For those of you who are soccer fans, it wasn't here, but the Women's World Cup, the first Women's World Cup was '99. That was a big moment. Summer of '99 was pretty cool for sports, and mid-July, Fenway was at the heart of it. Let's talk to Ray in Coventry, Rhode Island. Ray, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Sylver?
Doing good. How are you?
Yeah, that was the greatest times in baseball, 1999.
Sure.
I'm a little older, but to quote Clemens, everybody misremembers a little bit because Pedro blew his shoulder out that game.
He did. He went out against the Marlins the next week, and he got shelled, and they had to put him on the shelf for a while.
Yep, he blew it. Just to set the record straight, and he blew his shoulder out. He was never the same. He was still great, but he was never that Pedro.
2000, he was pretty good, Ray. I think he had, a 174 ERA in 2000? I mean,
I said he was still great, but he was never that Pedro.
Okay, Ray.
Remember, he came in later innings and threw a lot of curveballs after that, remember?
Yeah, I certainly do. Okay.
Yep, going up to 2004 and everything. He could never hit that 100 mile-an-hour mark after
That's
that.
a fair point.
That's where he couldn't do it again.
I was going to ask you this. So, do you think Paul Skeens should have stayed out there for the no-hitter for the Pirates last week?
Has he had Tommy John yet?
I don't think so.
He's
going to have it. Everybody has it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Might as well keep him out and get the Tommy John over early. They're doing it in Little League now. Get it over early. It's ridiculous.
Ray in Coventry, thanks for checking in here on a Monday night. Joe Murray Show, Sean Sylver in for Joe. Yeah, Pedro did. I'd have to check. I mean, because 2000, by a lot of estimates, Pedro was better in 2000. I bet the nerds would have a stat. Definitely the ERA was lower. That was his career low in terms of ERA. 99, he had the 300 strikeouts, 23-4. So I think that was his most wins. I don't know. Would you take 99 Pedro or 2000 Pedro? 2001 was when he got the rotator cuff, and then I think you could say he was really a reduced Pedro. 2002, he had a good season, but they babied him a little bit. 03, we all remember how that ended. And 04, he had like a 3.90 ERA, right? It's crazy how I can just dish these stats off. And now when, again, Red Sox team, very exciting team this year, I could barely tell you any of the stats. It's different now. I think part of it is the fact that, I'm in my 40s. The obsession is different. I don't go to RedSox.com and check stats daily. Used to be able to do that in the newspaper. But Pedro in 99 was something else. And, of course, once he got off the shelf, he had the 17K game against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium and that appearance in relief out of the bullpen in the ALDS in Game 5 where he pitched 6 innings against Cleveland. And they won that series, the first playoff series win for the Red Sox in 13 years. The stakes are certainly different here compared to 99. A lot of winning, a lot of complacency. And you know what? Frankly, because the Patriots aren't doing it for you anymore, or maybe the Bruins are frustrating you, a lot of fans who are asking more of the Red Sox because they've done it more recently, and they want them to do it again. Tonight's the Home Run Derby. Pete Alonso heads the field. Alonso, Gunnar Henderson, Marcell Ozuna, Bobby Witt Jr., Adolis Garcia, Alec Baum, Jose Ramirez, Teoscar Hernandez. Compare it to the field in 99. Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Ken Griffey Jr., Jeff Bagwell, Sean Green, Jeremy Burnitz, John Jaha, B.J. Surhoff, Nomar Garciaparra. People forget how good Sean Green was. Look him up. People forget how good Jeremy Burnitz was. Look him up. And, of course, Nomar. Nomar hit 2 out in that derby. Dave Joust, who was the Sox, I think, bench coach, third base coach. No, Wendell Kim was the third base coach. I think Dave Joust was the bench coach. He pitched to Nomar, and he said that Nomar in that derby wore himself out because he'd taken BP like 4 times that day. So by the time that he was up, he was toast.
He's the guy that pitches to Pete Alonso.
Dave Joust?
Yeah.
Is still pitching?
Yeah, he's the guy. Pete Alonso goes out of his way to bring him in every year.
Get out of here.
I think he was with the Mets with Alonso in 21, and then he retired, and Alonso still brings him every year, I believe.
Wow.
He's
there it is. I'm seeing it here on Sporting News. I just quickly searched.
Guy just throws strikes. He's Pete Alonso's guy.
Dave Joust. Yeah, Joust told the story to me. He was like, it's the All-Star break. My kids were young. My wife and I got in a house for 3 days on the Cape. And we were like, great, well, I'll get to hang out, have some family time. And Nomar calls me up and goes, hey, I just found out that I have an opportunity to be in this thing. Would you pitch to me? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know if the wife's going to enjoy hearing about that. So Nomar says, well, it would mean a lot if you would ask her. So Joust goes, well, honey, what do you think? And she's like, Are you kidding me? That'll be great. So his kids all got to go to the All-Star game. I guess they've been going ever since.
Yeah, he's the ringer. Pete Alonso credits him a lot. You should see his heat map. They have his heat map from some of the Alonso home run derbies, and he just pounds the strike zone right down the middle.
He has got to be.
He is 67 years old.
Yeah.
He was on the Sox staff as a first base coach from 97 to 99, and then he was Grady Little's bench coach in 2001.
There you go. Nicely done by Skaz there. That's why he's the best in the business.
If you need some behind-the-scenes info on Dave Joust, I got you.
I thoroughly enjoyed talking to Dave Joust. He was a part of Brian Daubach, whose T-shirt I'm wearing tonight. He was a part of Brian Daubach getting signed here as part of the replacement for Mo Vaughn. But, man, what a derby that was. We got some sound on that derby. I think we'll sprinkle a few of those into this evening as well. Mark McGwire with a Herculean performance. A great memory, certainly, I think, for a lot of people. When, it was a little steroidy, right? But it was cool. It was really fun to watch. Just bombing them over the net, over Lansdowne Street. Look out on the Mass Pike. All right, Sean Sylver here with you. We'll hit some headlines. We'll get back with some more remembrances of 1999, the All-Star Game, the Derby here in Boston. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the similarities between the 99 Sox and the 2024 Red Sox after this. We're already having fun here on the Sports Hub on a Monday night. Sean Sylver with you until 11. And for Joe Murray, I'm here with Skaz and Christina. Learn a little more about Christina. Always good to learn about our interns. What they're doing, what they're about. We know some people in common. We heard from a gentleman who was in the hood blimp for the 99 All-Star game. Christina out on blimps. Skaz, I don't know if it in or out. Did we save this for in or out?
We can get an early one in. I think if the opportunity arose, I would have to go in a blimp just to say I did it. But once, that feels like a once is enough situation.
I don't know how it would feel because it's obviously got to be different from a plane. I don't think I would feel good about a hot air balloon. Because, that just feels way too open. I'm big about heights, and I'm big about, I need to have control of the situation here. I don't think I would feel in control in a hot air balloon. Blimp? I've never been in a helicopter either. I've only been in a plane.
Did you know that there are only 25 blimps in the world? And only 10 of them are operational?
Wow. So they had 5 of them over Boston, apparently. According to Paul.
That's half of the population of operational blimps right there.
Wow. Operational blimp population, something I don't think that anybody expected this evening.
As of June 2024, Wikipedia, and take the source for what it is, reports there are only 8 active blimps right now.
8?
8 operational blimps in the world. That seems low when we're getting one every college football weekend, it feels like. But
8? Hey. Maybe blimps aren't as big of a thing in other cultures? Not a real dirigible interest?
I think they're very expensive to operate as well.
What is that, a lot of helium?
One trip can cost over $100,000 from the helium.
Oh, my. $100,000, just take that thing out. Where do you get helium, I wonder? It's where do you get it from?
A party store?
Party store balloons. What a ripoff. If you just get your own tank. Get your own tank. Fill them at home. Good to go. Not to, torpedo any party store business out there. Go and get it. It's America. Eddie Jones checking in on Twitter. Here's a random trivia question, All-Star member from 1999. Ron Coomer of the Twins. This is before Minnesota came into their own in the early 2000s with player development. Torrey Hunter, Jacques Jones, Johan Santana, Justin Morneau, Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer born on my birthday. And April 19, 1983, baby, Joe Mauer. Also a Hall of Famer. Thanks for checking in. You can hit me up on the Twitter at the Silver Fox, Silver with a Y. Remembering a bit of 99. Big Mac. 13 home runs. Berman was putting in the one-liners. He was there's one hit to Mobblehead. There's another one, I think, where he referenced maybe a road or some other geography.
Back onto the Massachusetts Turnpike.
And just think he does this every day in batting practice. That's the show he puts on.
It's 1999. They're playing Boom, Boom, Boom. Let me hear you say, way-o.
That was one of the first things I noticed, too, in that clip. We'll be bringing back some of the hits.
Oh, I can't wait. That's why Skaz is a valued part of our team here. Because he is very accommodating when Sylver is in for Joe. He's very accommodating all the time. Does his job very, very well, but I give him random tasks, and he's like, I got it. I got this.
Get in the Wayback Machine tonight.
Hey, well, it's July 15th, people. We don't even have tennis anymore to watch. All right? There's nothing doing. FS1 is up on one screen right now. They're replaying the USA-Australia game. Looks like I got NBA TV on the other screen. I got to switch over to, I assume ESPN has the Derby. Maybe it's on Fox. Wherever it is, we're switching over there. And we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll keep you up to date. But in the interim, we're remembering 99. One of the greatest seasons in the history of Red Sox baseball. And that comes with the perspective that there were 4 World Series championships since then. To wrap up the home run derby for that year, I mentioned McGwire hit 13 in the first round. He was out in the second round. The finals was Ken Griffey Jr., who went on to win against one Jeremy Burnitz, a guy who I wish that the Red Sox had at that time. Good power bat, hit 30 bombs like religiously for like 5 years in a row. The rules now, Skaz, we're still dealing with like timers and stuff and bonus rounds. I mean, after Vlad Guerrero hit like 150 home runs a few years ago, I was out on the Derby. I was just like, this is just so cheap.
I do like the changes they made this year, though.
Okay, so what does they?
So I believe in the first
got rid of the
round,
bracket.
You're gonna get 3 minutes or 40 pitches, whatever occurs first.
Okay.
I believe.
Okay. It's just, again, for a game that's into its history, you used to do 10 outs. Maybe that's not dramatic enough for people. But it's like, the records of 25 years ago, they don't stand for anything. I say McGwire blasted 13. That was freaking-credible at the time to see a guy hit 13 home runs.
Yeah, and then we saw Josh Hamilton hit like 35 in Yankee Stadium.
Yep, things had changed, and, they had a juice ball for a while there. So I'm interested to see what happens tonight just because I'm a baseball head. But you'll never get that good again. You'll never get that. That was must-see TV in the 90s, was seeing the Derby with those guys. But the 99 Sox, I see some similarities here. And I see you, Mike, on Twitter. And, I appreciate you saying, when I say that the 99 Red Sox and 2024 Red Sox have some things in common, I appreciate you, Mike, saying, do they have a new Pedro Martinez, Nomar Garciaparra, John Valentin, Brian Daubach, Troy O'Leary, Jeff Fry? Well, no, certainly not some of the names at the top of that list. But the 99 Sox and these Red Sox, there have been some high-profile departures within the last few years. Mookie Betts and Xander Bogaerts, I think most famously around here. Back in the era of Dan Duquette at GM, he had passed on Roger Clemens, he'd been a 500 pitcher for 4 years, and pretty much broken down. I don't think he expected him to go on steroids and win multiple Cy Young awards after leaving Boston, but that's what wound up happening. Also, right prior to 1999, Mo Vaughn was out. He took the money from the Angels. Mo Vaughn at the time, 31 and a big dude. And Duquette said, I don't know if we want this guy if he's just going to DH for us. Now, obviously that worked with David Ortiz a half decade later, and, through 2016. But Mo Vaughn's health in question. He did hurt himself with the Angels, going into a dugout for a pop-up. Right after that, he never really was the same. But he was your power bat. He was your clubhouse leader. He had been here in the early 90s when things were down and was a part of the team's resurgence in the mid to late 90s. Won the MVP. Fans were very critical of the Mo Vaughn departure here. And we all remember Jose Offerman was the big free agent signing. Jose Offerman did make the All-Star team in 1999. Had a pretty good season. It wasn't quite as good after that, but he had a pretty good season in 99.
I was a massive Troy O'Leary and Jose Offerman guy growing up.
There we go. There it is, Skaz. I wanted you to jump in. I did not want to be ageist here on this, so I just wanted you to jump in where comfortable.
Yeah, Offerman and O'Leary were big in the Scaramuzino household.
Nice. Troy O'Leary with that epic grand slam and like a 7 RBI game or something in Game 5 of the ALDS that year against Cleveland.
Big Alan Embry guy as well.
Alan Embry.
You should get some big league chew and try and recreate Alan Embry, just having the wad in the side of his mouth.
Yeah, thoroughly packed. Thoroughly packed. Skaz was there. We were all there. '99 was fun.
I was outside the stadium.
You were
My parents took me and my brother. I don't really remember. I was 6, so I don't remember a ton of it.
You were there for that?
But we did not go to the game, but I have pictures of us like at like a an All-Star game party, all in, they let us put on like random jerseys of All-Stars and stuff. So yeah, we went down.
So did you go to the Fan Fest?
Probably something like that, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, we were there. My parents were big Sox fans back then.
I stand corrected here. I didn't expect this from you. I didn't expect you to be thoroughly engaged with this watershed moment that I look at so fondly. But
yeah,
Skaz was there.
Wish I had clearer memories, but I have the pictures, and it's one of those things where you're like, yeah, I wasn't in the building, but it was that my parents not like driving to Boston just to do it either.
Yeah.
So it was it was a big deal.
Nice. Well, hey, it was what was going on that summer. It was a big thing. It felt, people were saying it felt like 45,000 people were in the building for the actual game because just, everybody's relatives were in and just people were up on the roof. It was madness. And so many people have a little touch point there with that 99 All-Star game, that weekend, that derby, whether you were 6 or 17 or whatever I was at the time, or, in your 30s or 40s at the time, and you had seen a lot of Red Sox baseball. 99 was cool. And that team was plucky. They really were. Brian Daubach, who was on my shirt, was kind of a last-minute guy they brought into camp. I mean, after Pedro and Nomar, who were you really paying? They had the 10th biggest payroll that year. You had Tom Gordon, who was hurt. Brett Saberhagen also, had one comeback player of the year in 98, but who was kind of, had some issues with durability in 99. Duquette had gone out and brought in Ramon Martinez, Mark Portugal, and Pat Rapp to round out the rotation behind Pedro. Brian Rose of Dartmouth, Mass. was called up that summer. I mentioned Daubach. You had Veritek, Trot Nixon, Rose were kind of like your young guys. Tim Wakefield was your closer for a little while. Like, not a lot of people were high on that team. And if they were high on that team, it was because of Pedro Martinez. 23-4. Landmark season for him. It's kind of like the Red Sox now. To a degree. Rafael Devers. 23 home runs. One of the fastest Red Sox to 1,000 hits, which Marquis surpassed a couple of weeks ago. He's now in 11th place in team history in home runs, moving up that. He's only been here since 2017. That's the guy they've invested in. That's their star. The people around him are doing some stuff. In 99, Brian Daubach won Player of the Week. Just had set a torrid pace out of nowhere. People were like, who is this guy? There were guys for the Sox who stepped up in 1999. Completely underestimated. It's kind of a lot like this year's team. And that's why 99 was fun for me. And that's why this year has been and could continue to be very fun for Red Sox fans. Not absolving management, not absolving ownership, but putting 100% of the credit on the players and the manager for what they've done so far. Now it is on the organization to produce at the deadline.
Do you know what Brian Daubach is doing today?
When I interviewed him 5 years ago, he was a hitting coach.
He is still a hitting coach for the Rochester Red Wings.
Really?
That's a baseball lifer right there.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and when I found a lot of these people, if they hadn't gotten into, because at the time I'd interviewed probably like 5 or 6 players in the All-Star game. I interviewed like 5 or 6 guys who were on the 99 Sox. No like real big gets, but Brett Saberhagen was a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. I felt like that was a pretty cool get. I kind of set my expectations low and tried to figure out like who would reply to my random, tweet or Facebook message or call to the team's PR or whatever. And a lot of these guys I found were either in coaching or in broadcasting. Makes sense. But yeah, baseball and life are totally a trend here. And, now that they've trimmed the minor leagues down a little bit, you see maybe a little bit less of that, maybe some more independent ball or whatever. But, man, I love Brian Daubach. He's one of my all-time favorite Red Sox for reasons. And those reasons were, burned into my mind in 1999 in an incredible season. Nick and Hooksett. Nick, what do you got?
Hey, a couple different things. You guys keep mentioning McGuire and Sosa, but the winner was Ken Griffey Jr.
Yep. Not an impressive total. I think he hit 3 in the finals, but he won.
Right, he did. He tied with McGuire for a total of 16 each.
Okay.
But McGuire didn't make the finals. I don't know why. Anyway, I wanted to mention something that's really crucial here tonight. We talk about how great that was. Bob Lobel, 25, 30-year TV4 sportscaster, had a show on Sunday nights called Sports Final.
Sure.
And that Sunday night, after that All-Star game, after the Home Run Derby, he had Home Run Derby balls in the studio that were actually used in the Home Run Derby and compared them to actual Major League balls, and they were found to be juiced. Well, they were.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't that great. I mean, it was a spectacle. When you look at how it happened, it's kind of like Bobby Bonds beating Hank Aaron by 7 home runs. And why do you think that happened? Because he juiced for 10 years.
Okay.
To me, it's pathetic.
Well, Nick, let me hit you with this. I mean, since 1999, which again was impressive to me, and sure, I remember Bob Lobel's show fondly. But since then, we've had Josh Hamilton hit whatever, I forget what it was, Skaz, 30-some-odd home runs. Vlad Guerrero, obviously a different format, hit like over 100 home runs, I think, in 2019. I mean, You can't tell me that the balls aren't still juiced because MLB is just trying to do things to drum up interest, right?
You're right. And they got to be a little more straightforward about it. That's all.
I hear you.
They were admonishing players not to cheat, and then they're cheating themselves for better TV ratings.
Yeah. Well, it sounds
a little bit hypocritical.
Yeah,
a little hypocritical.
I hear you. And Nick, thank you for the call. Appreciate some of the facts there. It just kind of goes along with the era. It depends on how you remember it. And for Nick, I don't know exactly where Nick ranks as a baseball fan, how many years he's been a baseball fan, but the 90s wiped out a lot of records. I get it. But even since then, we've seen juice ball eras. We've seen different ways to evade drug testing. I think the game has probably been cleaned up since it was back then. But again, where's the connection? You still had that connection back in 1999, even if history was marching on, even if there was hypocrisy and cheating. It was still there. There was still reverence for the history. Today's game, I don't know. I guess you got to find some way to connect with the youngs. But the Alex Verdugos of the world, not exactly doing it. We'll get to that and more after this break. Sean Sylver in here for Joe Murray.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
Mullins to left. Verdugo started in, and the Orioles are going to win it. Oh, my! Welcome to Club Sed.
I was lying on the grass of Sunday morning of last week, indulging in my self-defeat. My mind was fogged, all least the bugs, all twisted long beats. Uncomfortable, 3 feet deep.
The one-hit wonder out of Canada.
Now I'm forced to stare from not being there on a confusing morning week.
They popped up in a car commercial or something this summer. I think it was on during the NBA Finals, and I was like, good for Len. Get that bag, Len. Sean Sylver back here on the Sports Hub. This is Joe Murray's show. Sylver here with you till 11. Skaz in the house, Christina in the house, as we muddle through somehow on this July 15th. Oh, what to talk about. Major League Baseball Home Run Derby getting underway. We'll check in and out of that. But, we talked about where were you in 1999? Great summer. And maybe it is a little bit hypocritical of me for lionizing the feats of steroid abusers. But it was cool. Baseball was hot back then. It has lost a bit of its shine. They've done some stuff in the last couple of years, I think, that have pulled people back in somewhat, sped up the game. Great. But the attachment, the superhero-ness of the players was all on display for better or for worse. Mark McGwire hit 13 home runs. Ken Griffey Jr. won the Derby. Pedro Martinez struck out 5 out of 6 batters, including 3 Hall of Famers. Who's singing the national anthem right now? I need somebody to give me an AI check on this person's face. I don't know who that is. Maybe it's someone I know. Is it JoJo? No. It's about as young as I get, or as hip as I get with pop singers here. No idea who that is.
Yeah, I don't know who that is either. I'll try and find out shortly.
Skaz is on the case. But at the top there, you heard Alex Verdugo's misadventures.
Do you know who did it at the 99 All-Star game?
Anastasia.
Donna Summer.
Donna Summer, that's right. Why did I say Anastasia? She did it sometime for some All-Star game, randomly. Donna Summer. And it totally makes sense because, the Boston connection. Very cool. When did Anastasia do it? Why am I thinking? Maybe she did it at like a Red Sox World Series game, and I'm mixing it up. Donna Summer, R.I.P. Songstress. But you heard the misadventures of Alex Verdugo there, and I was mentioning that the Red Sox this year, a little bit like the 99 version. Got out to a hot start. They have that in common. The Yankees, a tormentor. They have that in common. The 99 Yankees were one season behind being one of the greatest teams of all time, with all those regular season wins and the dominant outing in the postseason, beating the Padres for a second title in 3 years. They would beat the Braves in 99. They would beat the Mets in the Subway Series in 2000. The Yankees were right in the thick of it. The Sox were plucky. They had some nobodies, at least to, the viewing public at the time. Very critical of Dan Duquette's offseason. Jimmy Williams pulled the right levers. The guys produced. Troy O'Leary became a household name for young Skaz. And the 99 Red Sox were something. The young guys stepped in. A lot of that happening right now with the Sox as they were 14 games out just a month ago. And they're now 4.5 back in the division. 4.5 back of Baltimore due to the fact that they got that win over the Yankees with Alex Verdugo having a 2022 Jarren Duran moment in the outfield. Everyone, of course, talks about how Jarren Duran, screwed up, young guy up with the team, inside the park, grand slam or whatever the heck it was. That was when we were moving out of Skaz. We were moving out of Dorchester. I was on with McCone that night. And we were in that little auxiliary studio that we were using while we were in the midst of the move. I'll never forget that moment. Will Yankees fans forget the Alex Verdugo blunder yesterday? They are tumbling. And now you're right there. Did anybody actually like Alex Verdugo when he was here?
No. I can speak just for myself, but no, not an Alex Verdugo guy.
No, I wasn't either. Granted, he was traded for Mookie Betts, so it was never going to work out. But, again, Jose Offerman replaces Mo Vaughn. We had some Jose Offerman fans here. Alex Verdugo, shady past, right? He wasn't very good. He had a grill, and he seemed to have a very high opinion of himself. I just never connected with that guy. And it's not because, it's not because of the grill, all right? Although I just thought that was weird.
No, I just wish Alex Verdugo was as good at baseball as he thinks he is.
Exactly. Said he should have been an all-star last year. I remember he was out there saying, you'd see some other guys on the team, I'm better than them, to paraphrase.
Wonder if those guys can catch a fly ball or run out a grounder.
Good grief. The real thing is he loafed it. He had some issues when he was here because he loafed it. He just thought he was so good.
Just a quick note. That anthem singer was Ingrid Andrace.
Okay.
I don't know who that is, but a quick Twitter search. I just typed in Home Run Derby anthem.
Yeah.
The public reaction are people just bad. People are saying this rivals Carl Lewis and Fergie's national anthems.
No.
That is so. I will try and find audio at some point, but yes, if you type in Home Run Derby anthem right now to Twitter, it is just a mass of how just bad. I guess she did. I haven't heard it, so I can't speak to it. But yes, Twitter is lampooning this poor woman.
You look at her Wikipedia here, and apparently she's 32. Which means that I guess I should know who she is. Because she's, not some youth. 32, that's a substantial age. American country music singer-songwriter. Okay, well, whatever country music is now.
Tough night for McCone.
Oh. Her breakthrough single, More Hearts Than Mine, peaked at number 30 on the Billboard Hot 100. She's co-written songs by Charlie XCX. That's not a country music singer. I don't know. Apparently it didn't go very good for Ingrid. I thought it was just, frankly, I thought that was just some like 21-year-old up there who I would have no idea who that is. Granted, I still have no idea who that is, but unfortunately, not a very good rendition. We'll hear more from Ingrid. But the Yankees are tumbling and the Sox are hot. Where are you on this team? That's what I want to know at 617-779-0985. We've been asking that all season, really, because, again, kind of like with 99, it's like, is this sustainable? And you wondered with that 99 team, what would they do at the deadline? And I think Dan Duquette, your mileage may vary on that trading deadline, but I think he made defensible moves for the position that they were in. The Red Sox weren't looking to take on a lot of money. They would add Manny Ramirez a couple years later. They also added Dante Bichette in 2000. So they added some contracts. They weren't afraid to do that. But they had to be judicious in 1999. They were a mid-market team, or at least they behaved that way. And they didn't tie themselves up with anybody who was going to ruin their flexibility to, say, get Dante Bichette or get Manny Ramirez a couple of years later. They said, all right, we got a pretty good team right here. We need a bat. They got Butch Husky, who, if you recall, Butch Husky had a very good season for the New York Mets. I think in 96 or 97. Had some pretty good power. Was a good doubles hitter. They needed a right-handed bat, and Butch Husky gave him that. He came in, did pretty well for the Sox in 45 games. 266, 7 homers, 20 RBIs. 7 homers, 28 RBIs in 45 games. That's not bad. Needed a righty bat. They got him. Kent Merker was the addition at starting pitcher. Kent Merker, kind of like a four-starter, kind of like the guy they added at the previous trade deadline, and Pete Shurik. Kind of like a 3-4 mid-to-back rotation guy. They used him in the playoffs. They got Rod Beck for the bullpen, and I think a lot of you might remember Rod Beck's time in Boston. He was a good addition. He was struggling with the Cubs. They brought him into Boston. They figured him out. He contributed. Rod Beck was good here. They also added Bryce Flory and Lenny Webster. Duquette was busy. Got a righty bat. You got a starter. You added a couple guys to the bullpen to help firm that up. You got a backup catcher because Hatterberg was out and Veritek needed somebody to back him up. If the Red Sox did the equivalent of that at this year's trading deadline, that's pretty good. You do not have to get Vlad Guerrero to win me over. You don't have to go out and get the big name or a guy who, he's a big name and he makes a splash now, but he doesn't have term. I don't think that's what the team is looking to do. I think that the Red Sox, no matter if there's a difference between what Sam Kennedy is saying and Craig Breslow is saying, or if there's shades of gray, I think what the Red Sox need to do is make a justifiable move where they bring in a guy with term who can be a part of this build. If they're ahead of schedule, which clearly they must be, because nobody had these expectations, and you're starting rookies all over the place. I think I read an article, I forget which one it was, but like 3/4 of this team has less than 3 years service time in the majors coming into this season. So they're ahead of schedule. I don't think you need to go for the home run right now. This isn't a win the World Series team. But can this team make a spirited run? Can you get some believers? Can you Fire up the bandwagon like you did in 99? Make this a hot property again? Fans are looking for it. Fans are going to be fired up for Drake May making appearances at Foxborough at training camp. But is he going to be the starter? Are the Patriots a hot ticket this year? Answer me honestly. No. Drew Bledsoe wasn't a miracle worker immediately here in New England. Tom Brady was, but he's Tom Brady. Right? Jim Plunkett wasn't a miracle worker here immediately in New England. There were a lot of quarterbacks who have not been miracle workers from the jump. That's okay. The Pats are not a hot ticket. The Red Sox can be. There's an opportunity here. Just show me that you're committed to making the playoffs this year. Make defensible, justifiable moves. And if you have a lot of prospects, dish a couple. Get me a guy who can hit lefties and get me a starter with some term. Get me Jesus Luzardo, currently on the IL. See if you can pry him from the Marlins. Is Texas in? Is Texas out? Get me Evaldi. Luzardo has term. Evaldi will be a short-term deal. Either one will work for you this year because you know Tanner Houck and Cutter Crawford aren't taking you all the way. It would be a lot for those guys with no track record to have to do it all season. So that's where I'm at. 617-779-0985. We'll be back with more hits of 99. We'll be back with more Red Sox talk. We'll talk Celtics tonight. We'll talk about the poo-poo platter of sports that usually comes this time of year. If you want to join us, you can get at us at that phone number or on Twitter at the Silver Fox, Silver with a Y. Sean Sylver in for Joe till 11.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub. It's you right through the night.
I actually spoke with women today.
On the Sports Hub.
Cold one.
I missed that one.
Man, it's a rainy one. It went for years. Just
today would have been a good day. Man, it's a hot one.
Oh. You know who likes smooth is Macho Man Randy Savage. Just like the ocean under the moon, yeah. Same as the emotion that I get from you. Got the kind of loving that can be so smooth. Give me your heart. Make it real or let's forget about it. Oh, yeah. 1999 in full effect. Seeing people just bag on this lady on Twitter here for her national anthem effort. And frankly, Skaz, you said it's bad. I don't like the piling on.
Yeah, Twitter is having a field day with this.
I don't
one.
like the piling on. We don't know the circumstances. That's why when I come on the radio here, I want the full story. Right? The Jaylen Brown story, which we'll get to. We don't know. Because, of course...
Maybe the number one Jaylen Brown guy at the Sports Hub and Sean Sylver have been waiting for your take on this.
We'll get there tonight. We have 4 hours to fill here on July 15th. We'll get there.
Pace ourselves.
Well, but let's just remember, and the reason I bring it up is we don't know all the information. Stephen A. Smith or anybody who has sources, they're going to be protective of what they say because either it's timing, there's a utility to them having the information and not releasing it. It's whatever the narrative is on a particular day. And you have no idea what somebody is really going through. We don't, because everything comes out through a filter. So even if Ingrid here has an agent or has somebody with sources, we could tell them to state their source about whether or not Ingrid was, under the weather tonight or something, doing the national anthem.
What are her resources? Should we be scared of her resources?
Oh boy. I'm not scared of Ingrid's I don't know. I don't know anything about her. I can't just assume, because when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. As I Ben Maller that one there. 617-779-0985.
Wait about 6 more hours for that talk.
Yeah. I'll be waking up tomorrow with Ben Maller in my ears as I start my day very early, even on these 11 p.m. Nights here. Start my day with the final hour of Ben Maller when he usually does the game shows and gets Marcel in Brooklyn to call in. Good times.
A hot food take, yeah.
Yeah, food picks.
I don't miss those days working overnights.
Sylver here, Skaz here, Christina here. Maybe we'll hear from Christina later. I think that would be fun. Can I ask just a inside baseball question here about the show? So I heard the guy with the aura.
Yes, that was Kevin. He's our intern on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
So we have 2 interns.
Kevin and Christina.
Each 2 nights a week?
Yes.
Nobody on Fridays?
Nobody, just riding solo on Fridays.
That's why when I did a Friday a couple weeks ago, we had nobody. Well, it is my pleasure to be introduced to Christina. I don't know how I would take Kevin.
You'd like Kevin.
I'd like Kevin?
You would.
I've just, he's complex.
He's confident.
He's confident. I just, he
would will you to like him.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We got a long summer ahead. Jim Louth, I'm sure, with his eye toward the schedule, particularly during Patriots training camp, is going to say, Sean Sylver is just the guy that I need for 4 hours of radio tonight. So sometime, maybe, me and Kevin will be trading barbs. We'll try to hear from Christina later on in this program, and hear from you on the Red Sox. Apparently, they're buying. Sam Kennedy says they are buying, and he said, you can never have enough pitching. But let's also remember, There's about 20 teams in contention right now. So it's going to come at a premium. So you better make a good move here. Show me a justifiable move. It's okay to not swing for the fences. Can you make the team better for now and for the future? For right now, it's pretty good to be a Red Sox fan, as they're 11 games over 500. And what did I have here? Are they the 4th best record in the AL? They are. They're ahead of Seattle now. So despite being the 3rd wild card, they are simply behind the Yankees, Twins, 5th best. Yankees, Twins, Guardians, and Orioles. 14 games back a month ago, now just 4.5 back in the division. What are we going to do about it? Rafael Devers broke a seat last night with a home run. Let's hit the headlines, take a quick break, and get back. More Sox talk here on the Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines. Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
We saw a window, but I think the window is getting bigger. It's actually a door, and we can actually accomplish this, On
YouTube. Sometimes I forget about that. And her affinity for Pedro Nomar and Tim Wakefield, who I don't know, how you could be a Red Sox fan and not have an extreme love for Tim Wakefield. But all-time Red Sox for me, all-time Red Sox of my fandom. So, I picked up in the late 80s. Tim Wakefield, he'd be in the top 10, maybe the top 5, just for the sheer class act, team first player. And you can't understate what a good dude he was as well. I had an opportunity once to interview Tim Wakefield for an article I was writing. It was a career highlight to talk to Tim Wakefield. What a nice guy. Got a picture with him somewhere. But yeah, he was a guy who came out of the pen in 1999. As the closer, Tom Gordon goes down, you put the knuckler in as your closer. Knuckleballer as the closer. Hoyt Wilhelm was a knuckleballer as a closer example, and he's in the Hall of Fame. Wakefield, he's in the Red Sox Hall of Fame. He had 15 saves that year. Great performance. Did whatever the team needed. Heard Alex Cora talking about the door now a window, the window now a door. Let's get it right or pay the price, as Ugg would say on Salute Your Shorts. The Sox are hot right now. Is it sustainable? And what do we do at the deadline? This series against the Royals, bigger than probably a lot of people might think. They take 2 out of 3. You get a pristine start from Cutter Crawford, 7 innings, 3 base runners on Saturday. You get the big start, or the big hits from Rafael Devers all weekend. He's got 9 of his 23 homers in the past 17 games, hitting .375 during that span. Broke a seat the other day. And also the Sox beat up Seth Lugo, who, right now one of the top candidates for the American League Cy Young, a guy I guess you could have had on the open market. I wasn't necessarily bullish on him, but he's had a hell of a season for the Royals. So Cora says that the door is open. And I think the real important thing is here, let's take the temperature of this room. Alex Cora, gone after this season no matter what? Yes or no?
I believe so.
Yeah? Doesn't matter how they do?
It feels like it would have got done by now if he was coming back. That's, kind of a cop-out answer, but you don't let a guy like Alex Cora have a year like this where he's just on the last year of his deal. Usually these guys get signed. They don't get these kind of dead-end deals or whatever. But, yeah, so I think he's gone. I think he wants more money, more control, and the Red Sox aren't going to give him either of those things.
Well, it's interesting that Craig Counsell had that great year last year, and he walked.
He got the bag, too.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of examples like this because usually when you have a great manager who is available, there's like a manager of the year type, right? And the Red Sox have had this, actually. In 75, Darryl Johnson won the Manager of the Year award. The Sox went to the World Series. He was canned the next year because they were underperforming. There might have been some front office issues there as well. But I can't think of too many examples here where you have a Manager of the Year and he's gone the next year. Maybe I'm forgetting something that's obvious, but I just, it's not immediately coming to mind. It is wild to think that Alex Cora could be gone. Because I personally, I think that he's one of the best Red Sox managers of all time. And I don't even think that that's an overstatement at all. You don't have a lot to choose from, at least since World War II. You really don't. I mentioned Darryl Johnson, who got him to the 75 World Series. His time here was brief. Dick Williams got to the 67 World Series. His time here was brief. I think Francona is the clear and obvious winner. John Farrell won a World Series here as well. Would you say Alex Cora or John Farrell as the better manager? I think I'd go Cora.
I don't know if that's particularly close.
Well, Farrell, that 2013 team was not as talented as the 2018 team with Cora that won.
That was like a special lightning in a bottle
year, right? And Farrell, it seemed like when the Red Sox had good competitive teams, people were talking about what Farrell wasn't doing. With the Red Sox, they field underperforming teams, and people are talking about what Cora is doing. He's held this team together despite the departures, despite the stagnant organizational approach. So, Joe Morgan with Morgan Magic in 88. He was here for a few years, couple playoff appearances. Didn't get the chip. I don't think you should hold that against Red Sox managers pre-2004. But it's Don Zimmer? I don't know. Post-World War II, Joe Cronin was the manager at the time. He was very good. But since Joe Cronin, it's got to be Francona. Number one, probably all time, Terry Francona. And then maybe, we mentioned Jimmy Williams in 99. He was manager of the year.
How could we forget Ron Renicky? 2020.
How could we forget the Ron Renicky year?
The era.
Oh, man. Credit to Ron for coming in here.
Honestly, I totally forgot about him. I'll be honest, until I looked at the list.
He is going to pilot the sinking ship. Thank you for taking that on. It was kind of like the year between Duquette and Theo Epstein at GM. There was a gentleman by the name of Mike Port who came in, did the job for a year, handed the team off for safekeeping. Seeing people in the comments here. Top 5 Red Sox for Christina. I got to talk with her about that. I think that's a good, if not controversial, list.
Mike Port was the vice president of umpiring.
Yes.
For 6 seasons, and then went on to be a rules analyst for Fox Sports.
You talk about a baseball lifer. Somebody in the YouTube comments lists Babe Ruth in their top 5 all-time Red Sox.
Yeah, I know JP and NP is an older guy.
Oh, that's JP.
But Babe Ruth, JP.
That's JP. That's right.
I didn't think JP was that old.
Oh, man. All right. In or out coming up after this.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Are you in or out? Gotta know without a doubt. I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is guaranteed.
So what are you going to tell? Is this like half-price drinks? Is that specifically what I'm getting?
I would imagine that's, probably the main sticking point.
Half-price drinks. Well, frankly, again, when you're me, I can't have more than one. It ain't happening beyond one drink anymore for me. So I wouldn't need it to be half price. I'll go in, I'll pay $8 for a beer.
$22 domestic light.
Now there we go. I can get on board with that. I'm just, okay, half price trade, sure. A drink deal, sure. Massachusetts, man. All right, what we got, Skaz? What else?
All right.
I was out there living my best life. What cartoon from my youth would I like a reboot on? I mean, I feel like they've already done a lot of them. Alvin and the Chipmunks, Inspector Gadget, Garfield.
Yeah, Inspector Gadget, not great.
No.
Matthew Broderick's not his best work.
No. Obviously, like Ghostbusters was a movie before it was a cartoon.
Hey Arnold, was that before your time?
I watched a little Hey Arnold. That came in maybe like 95. A little. Well, I'm getting a shake of the head. She's out. Christina's out. I kind of feel like it's a little overrated. I watch Arthur, right? And I'm like, this is a damn good cartoon. I can watch cartoons that are after my time and go, this is damn good. Like some of the stuff on Netflix nowadays. I'm like, this is great. Bluey, great.
Yes, I apparently stupidly last week asked if Bluey was a Blue's Clues ripoff, and I was told no.
Oh. But
shame on me.
SpongeBob just never got it. Skaz, will you be tuning in?
I can't say that the ancillary characters of SpongeBob are going to get me to tune in for a movie. I think maybe if it was a SpongeBob-centric movie, possibly I'd check it out. But yeah, I'm also out on this one.
Wait a minute. And I didn't do my research for this segment. But so Sandy Cheeks is different from...
She is like a side character. She is a squirrel from Texas that lives in the same town as SpongeBob, I believe.
What's going on here?
Yeah, it's yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had no idea who Sandy Cheeks
Getting
is.
deep in the weeds on the SpongeBob universe.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes me even more out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, well, maybe we can get one of these in for Sean Sylver.
Am I out on everything? I'm just a naysayer?
We're going to head to Costco.
Jerk.
We're going to head to Costco for this one. Costco has launched an $80 Apocalypse Dinner Kit containing foods with a shelf life of 25 years. Sylver, are you in or out on the Costco Apocalypse Dinner Kit?
Out. All right, that's not a terrible price, I guess, for if you're buying in. There's obviously a lot of apocalypse stuff out there you can find on the internet. Then it probably very much more expensive than that.
Yeah, so apparently in this $80 kit, there are enough meals to feed a family of 3 meals a day for 2 weeks.
And, as a father of 2, there is nothing more important to me than providing for my children. But I would just think, man, why would we want to be hanging out for 2 weeks eating Costco meals if it's the apocalypse? Plus, let's be real. And yes, for those of you on YouTube, I am having an apple juice box right now. It was a little bit past the Best Buy date, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to drink this. I would have to build a fallout shelter or something, right, in my home, which is several $1,000s more that I have to spend. So you know what? I'm just going to take it as it comes. I don't need to be prepared.
Yeah, this feels like more of a Michael Felger type investment as someone who is a doomsday prepper.
Well, $80, might not be the right price tag for Felger. He might
maybe a more expensive apocalypse.
His meals might need to be a little more fancy than that. Like there's a reason Morris the cat only eats Fancy Feast and not those other cat foods. So what? Was I out on everything?
So Sean, are you in or out on Skip leaving?
In.
FS1.
In. Skip Bayless is part of what's wrong with sports discourse. Go away. There's a few more of them out there. We'll slowly get rid of them too. Actually, no, they're going nowhere. They're just they're producing more of them.
Do you think this means we could be getting a new look Skip and Stephen A back together?
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, it's not like I would watch anyways. There's a reason that it's the, talk show on mute trend.
Yeah, these are shows that you see, when you're at the restaurant, there's no sound on,
Exactly.
or at the barbershop.
I'm there enjoying my my half-price apps during a happy hour, which isn't really a happy hour. Having a milk. And that's on in the background. Or yes, I'm getting my ears lowered. Yeah, I don't care. But I'm in for anything where Skip Bayless gets away from my Twitter, generally goes away, and Stephen A can follow him. Just go away. You only pop up when you're saying something dumb. You know who else is another one? Gilbert Arenas. You only pop up when you say something dumb.
Agent Zero.
Yeah, great player. Did a couple of stupid things towards the end of his career, and now all you do is stupid things. But you keep your name in the news. Good for you. I'm in on all of you going to the same apocalypse shelter together and eating the same Costco meals for 2 weeks. See what it does to you.
All right, Sylver.
Maybe you'll come back with some sports takes that are actually halfway decent.
Yeah, the food will get the mind working correctly.
Maybe.
All right, we'll end with this one tonight on your first edition of In or Out. So we have these national days every day now, it seems, but today is National Gummy Worm Day. So Sean Sylver, are you in or out on gummy worms?
Well, I'm out on national days. I just think it's overkill. I am in on gummy worms. In on gummy anything. Gummy bears. Those peaches things that you can get.
Peach rings.
Peach rings. I don't care if they're not good for you. I am so in on gummy. So yeah, that would make me happy right now. I got some Cheetos here.
I got Cedric Maxwell in there.
Rain on me. Rain on me with the Cheetos. It's a good night when you're raining with the Cheetos. So I was in on a couple of things.
Yeah, we got some ins there at the end.
All right.
Now you got one under your belt.
Dave Joust right now pitching to Pete Alonso.
Not going so great.
Only 9 home runs, but since I have no idea what's going on with the format right now, where's the timer? Is there a timer?
I believe his timer has expired, and these are his bonus balls.
Oh, look at Joust is throwing right down the middle, and Alonso is launching. All right, let's get the headlines. And I'd love to tell you what's going on with the Derby. The tracker on ESPN, I don't know what is... It doesn't make any sense. There's tweets down here that are telling me that Bobby Witt Jr. had 20, and there's another one that said he has 16. Oh, maybe that's how many he has in the first half. Okay. We'll figure this out. I'm going to tally this up. I'm going to get you a legitimate update. Sean Sylver in for Joe Murray. Skaz, Christina, we're rocking till 11 o'clock.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, Celtics, the Patriots, the Bruins, and the Revolution play here. WBC-FM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Major League Baseball home run derby at Globe Life Field in Texas. Pete Alonso, the polar bear, just swatting them out right now off of former Red Sox first base and bench coach David Joust, the 67-year-old, putting him right over the plate. Oh, that one was just a bit outside. Come on, show me. Oh, get out. Go. Uh-oh. Maybe Alonso's not going to make it. Shares a moment with Dave Joust. Alec, is it Baum or Bohm? He's just in my fantasy league every year. I don't watch a lot of Phillies games.
Believe it's Bohm, but I'm not sure.
Alex Bohm has been hitting bombs. He's the leader so far in this thing. No Red Sox in the home run derby so far. Teoscar Hernandez had 19. I think that puts him in second place, right? Looks like he'll be advancing. Oh, Bobby Witt had 20. Okay, Bohm had 21. Witt had 20. Teoscar, 19. What did Garcia get? This is the thing with this ESPN feed here. It doesn't tell me the actual... Oh, there we go. Okay. Garcia, 18. And Polar Bear with 12. So that means the top 4 advance. Okay. All right. Celtics taking on Bronny James tonight and the Lakers at 10:30 in Summer League action. Team USA in action today. They beat Australia by 6, 98-92. Your Sports Up headlines are brought to you by Awaken 180. You spending the summer on the Cape? Are you abroad for vacation? Awaken 180's at-home program travels with you. Don't put your health off. Awaken180weightloss.com. I'm Sean Sylver, Boston Over Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Next update, 9:30.
No matter where you go, you're always connected to Boston sports with the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Download it wherever you get your apps today.
To sing on a recent Friday night.
Oh, I would love to hear that.
Oh, what were we singing? We were singing some sort of, was it a ballad?
Jeff, a man with impeccable music taste as well.
Impeccable. Truly impeccable. I mean, the guys I get to work with here at night, it's just a murderer's row of talented people here at the Sports Hub who work on the other side of the glass, as they call it. And always a good time. But yeah, I got to think about what I got Jeff to sing. I was a little surprised. Skaz playing the hits as well. And apparently the Murrays are tuned in. I don't mean to out them on, what they're doing with their Monday night. They could be anywhere in the world, but apparently they're here with me. I appreciate that. I felt a warmth when Skaz told me that the Murrays were listening. 2 of my favorite people on the planet Earth. So I hope they're having a good time with their vacation time, much deserved vacation time. And I'm trying to hold it down for Joe here. I mean, that in or out might have been a little bumpy. Skaz, I don't know. Maybe I should have been in on a few more things at the beginning to keep it honest.
You can't force your feelings. You got to just tell it like it is.
Am I like a killjoy because I'm old and I have children?
It's not called in. It's called in or out. You got to be out. You got to be in. You were out on most things, but that's the beauty of it.
It's like I don't want half-price drinks. I mean, it's like 25-year-old me listening to this right now. Like, come on.
25-year-old Sylver saying you're out on video games and half-price drinks. 25-year-old Sylver might not be thrilled.
25-year-old Sylver had a lot of things wrong with him. Let's be real. 25-year-old Sylver had an RBI baseball season going against his roommate, Jay. Where is Jay? Jay said he was going to call in with a Red Sox take tonight. Jay was my first radio co-host on WSHL Stonehill College.
Roommates and co-hosts. I like that.
Roommates and co-hosts. It's not a path that hasn't been walked before, right? But
the dorm room with Sean Sylver.
Yeah, we were the Fire It Up show. Just hot sports talk all the time.
Does the intro to that show still exist?
You use Black Label Society for your intro here. Our intro for Fire It Up was Fire It Up by the Black Label Society.
Oh, that's too good.
I mean, just a real... We let it run, nice and long over the opening banter, so you get to a nice, sick Zakk Wylde guitar solo right about, 2.5 minutes into us just talking about whatever. It was a good time. 2004 was our first... We freaking started our radio show as the Red Sox were going to the World Series. It was pretty fun. One of those deals where you didn't have a phone, like a phone that you could connect. You had to take it offline and then talk over the air like so-and-so's calling from this dorm and they think that Pedro Martinez is, the Yankees' daddy or whatever. It was like that. It was like that. Had to play all the sound effects off of a CDR that I made. It's good times. It's like, yeah, let's bring up the chicken noise. That's track 16, My experience in production. Learned how to use a board there. So, a long and winding road that leads to your door. Loving the interaction in YouTube. Yeah, we just played I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys. Quincy. This is fun.
Quincy, a caller into the show from Curacao last week, I believe, or 2 weeks ago.
Curacao.
Yes, now he's a member. He said he found the show on YouTube.
Wow. Wonder if they have happy hour in Curacao. JP says, Sylver, do you have the rest of the Lunchables to go with that juice box? Pizza or nachos? Oh, that's so tough. Pizza, probably. Nachos are an underrated snack, though. Underrated meal sometimes. Just give me the loaded nachos. Done. Oh, boy. Wally Beach or North Quincy? I used to live in Wollaston. All right, 617-779-0985. I feel like we're going to try and get this one back on the rails. It's really a poo-poo platter of sorts. Are you guys big soccer heads? I know Skaz is.
I would consider myself a big soccer head.
Were you watching the Copa, the Euros, or both?
I watched both games yesterday. I watched mostly all of both.
Big weekend for Spain, certainly.
Big weekend for Spain in tennis and soccer, a little live golf if you want to include that. Right? Sergio certainly did.
Yeah.
Nothing like giving yourself a piece of history there with Sergio. Huge day for Spain because I won.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sergio.
You waggle over that ball a little longer, Sergio. Carlos Alcaraz, definitely looking like he might be one of the all-time greats upcoming in tennis. It was a fun Wimbledon. There was carnage in the women's bracket. Definitely one thing I want to get into with you guys at some point is sports bucket list trips. And I think about it, and it's like in 2022, I was fortunate enough to go to the U.S. Open here. Some of the big ones for me. I did that. I've been to all 30 MLB teams' home games. That was like the big thing for me. I wanted to check that off. I started that when I was 19 and finished when I was like 34. So it took about 15 years, but I finally did it all. There have been a variety of things, but Wimbledon would be cool. Wimbledon would be really cool. There's something about the grass.
You got to dress to impress.
Got to dress to impress.
I don't know how I feel about getting dressed up for a sporting event.
Well, you know all those idiots who do Kentucky Derby parties.
Well, that's true.
I mean, no shade if you're one of those, but yes, actually, really. I mean, it's like, yes, come on over. Let's get sloshed. We'll wear bow ties and stupid hats.
That feels like one that's better on TV.
I don't know. I feel like in person, it's a mass of people.
But it's like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, so you're just there for the party. I almost went to the Belmont one year, but it got canceled due to rain or something.
My dad lives right near Saratoga, so he goes to a lot of those races up there.
Did his horse naturally win?
I believe he did go this year, and I believe he made some money. Not as much as someone else he went with. They hit it big, but yeah, they had a good time.
Good for Dad. That seems like a nice scene. The wife and I have some friends in Saratoga. We barely ever make it out of Massachusetts, but let's put that on the list. That would be fun. But Wimbledon would be, I guess I'd have to start with the U.S. Open. U.S. Open would be really cool, and that's doable. That's Labor Day weekend.
Queens.
Yeah. I would go for like the early rounds.
Go see a Mets game, catch a little tennis.
Citi Field. McCarthy was just there. Citi Field, I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but it's probably in the back half of the top 10.
I've heard it's nice-ish.
It's small. It's small. The sightlines are great. It's a good time. When the Mets are decent, it makes it even better. I got nothing against Mets fans. But anything else stick out as far as like I've always kind of wanted to do? Like some people say the College World Series in Omaha is a real thing.
I think for me, like a World Cup game or the Ryder Cup would be right up there.
You'd have a chance in 2026. You lining up for that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll try and go. I think it's going to be a disaster, but yeah, I would like to go. If you saw, I don't know, the CONMEBOL last night. And obviously, a little bit of Twitter kind of having its way with American soccer last night. That was not an event run by American soccer. That was an event run by CONMEBOL. So that is a little different. It's a Copa America event. I believe, that's a stadium that does host NFL games, Taylor Swift concerts, stuff like that. So I don't want to put it all on them. I do think it was the organizers of the event are more at fault than it being an American stadium and, USA Soccer. I think it's more an indictment on the Copa America, people in power. But yeah, so not a good look for a country that's hosting quite a few World Cup games in a few years.
I would say if you saw the Colombia-Uruguay game, you would that would be an indicator.
You would have thought that they would have said, okay, we screwed that one up. Let's be ready for the final. Yeah. And that is not what happened.
Like that one should have been the stain of the tournament. Right?
Yeah, yes.
And it's partially on the organizers. I mean, like that Colombia team, like what a bunch of they were too much. They were too much. All right. And it was very apparent in the Uruguay game, which I was watching. I did not get to watch the final, but certainly saw it in real time happening on my feed. But it was just like, and that's the thing with men's soccer for me too. I have a hard time because I watch the women's product, and clearly there are differences.
Not a lot of diving in the women's sport.
Not a lot of diving. I appreciate the talent, and historically, like I've really gotten into some World Cups historically, but not in a while. I think I've just really soured so much on the diving. It is like at one point, even before all the physical stuff kind of happened, and the brawl, obviously, I tweeted out that like this game is just an embarrassment. It's performance art. And people hate the NBA for, what happens out there, and that's my sport.
Yeah, you're getting like 10 Joel Embiids or 10 James Harden on the field at one time.
Oh, can't wait to get into Joel Embiid later.
Tough start to his international career for the United States.
Well, would you expect it? All he does during the summer is eat and sleep. So he has admitted this publicly. He's admitted this publicly in 2022 when he obtained not only French citizenship, but American citizenship in the same 2-month period because literally he's shopping for a country to play international basketball for. He was like, what have you been doing this summer? He's like, mostly just getting sleep, watching TV. It's like, great. And you wonder.
The Zion Williamson workout program.
Yeah, Joel Embiid, not on my list of top 5 anything. But yeah, anyways, that happened today as well. But yeah, as I said, the poo-poo platter. I'd love to hear Christina's take on a bucket list item. Maybe we'll get Christina. Would you be up for a segment? That's a thumbs up. All right, let's take a break. We'll get right back at you here on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Kick back and relax at the Sunset Tiki Bar and Grill in Westford, Mass. Enjoy delicious tiki menu offerings and sip on award-winning cocktails at the coolest place to chill this summer. Check us out at sunsettiki.com.
Roto-Rooter. Plumbing problem? Leaks are no match for DIY duct tape. And the wrench. And the towel, more duct tape, a hammer, this random tube I found in the basement, another bucket, more tape, a little more tape. Perfect.
Maybe leave plumbing to the pros at Roto-Rooter.
Roto-Rooter.
What if there was an internet plan, not just made for you, but made by you, where you choose what's in your plan and only pay for what you want? Introducing My Home from Verizon. Plans start at just $35 a month with autopay and select 5G mobile plans. Welcome to internet your way. Call 1-800-VERIZON and switch today. 5G Home, LTE Home, and Fios internet plans each start at $35 per month when combined with select mobile unlimited plans. Availability varies. Autopay and paper-free billing required. Subject to credit approval. Fios Mobile Plus Home discount requires enrollment and $99 setup. Additional terms apply.
We started the program talking about 1999, the All-Star game, the Derby in 99, the pomp and circumstance. Oh, yeah, the pomp and circumstance of all of that. The 99 Red Sox, how they were plucky and fun. And comparing them a little bit to this year's model, who find themselves 11 games over 500, 4.5 back in the East. Oh, here we go. They're showing this old footage here. Cal Ripken, Miguel Tejada. What year was Tejada the winner? I forget. Is that 04? There he is, 04. But we've gone on the Wayback Machine to start this. Heard from a guy who was in the hood blimp at the 99 All-Star game. And had some good perspectives on how much fun it was 25 years ago. And since then, we've done In or Out. We're going to have a foxhole coming up where I'm going to talk about my weekend, which, again, as someone who, is out on happy hour, because he can't have more than one drink anyways when he's out, is out on a variety of things, doesn't watch any movies, doesn't know who sang the national anthem at the Home Run Derby because I don't listen to any new music. I'm going to tell you about my riveting weekend. So that's some radio that you should tune into. Because if anything, you should know that I am plugged in on the pulse of things to do, people to see, and places to be seen. We'll also hear from Christina coming up. She's rocking with us this summer. 2 nights a week. Dean College. It's got some great geography that we have in common, that we have covered. Slightly north of the city, slightly southwest of the city. Been in and around some good places. So we will talk about some stuff. And I wanted to do a little bit about hoops here too, because obviously that's my thing. We'll get into more of it at around 10 o'clock as we go into the Celtics-Lakers game. But Team USA, right? There's a big thing right now about Jaylen Brown. And this is why it's bothering me. Because obviously, as someone who's out on happy hour and doesn't watch movies, and doesn't know any new music, I would be a person who'd be bothered about things, right? Be old, angry man, old man waves, old man yelling at cloud. There we go. That's what it is. Ugh, it's late. Need my Metamucil. They're trying to turn the Celtics into the Patriots. They're trying to turn the Celtics into the late-stage Patriots here, where we're just basically doing, an episode of Days of Our Lives with Dr. Drake Ramore, and all we care about is interpersonal relationships and how people are feeling. And I get it. In this day and age, your mental health is very important. It's very important to be kind to people and pay it forward. But, sometimes in life, it's just not going to go that way. And while we try and be Lucy from the Peanuts, as we were with the Patriots for the last years of the Brady era, and open up the little yellow stand there with the psychiatrist is in 5 cents, and try and figure out what's going on with the Celtics, you're ruining my summer, to use an old quote. Like, good grief. The Celtics won the NBA title. This is the thing that we have wanted since 2000. I don't know. Brown was drafted in 16, excuse me. Tatum was drafted in 17. I don't know. Maybe since they made the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cavs that one year, maybe you were thinking, hey, this could be something. Isaiah Thomas is really something. Al Horford came to town probably since the summer of 2016 when they were looking to get Durant. They came away with Horford. They were trying to be legitimate. And now here we are. They won the NBA title. It finally happened. They did it with generally their 2 stars are homegrown guys. Al Horford's still in the mix for this title. Sorry, Marcus Smart couldn't be here. And the management made the right moves. Brad Stevens made the right moves to surround this team with the weapons to get it done. And you brought them all back. And now we're on this. We're on this. Because it's hot. You know, it's gossip. There's infighting. There's always got to be infighting between Tatum and Brown. They couldn't possibly like each other. We knew, as was pointed out by John Corrales on Locked On Celtics, which is among my first listens every day. As I said, I wake up very early in the morning. Derek White was going to be the first alternate for Team USA. We knew that a long time ago. And I'm not absolving Jaylen Brown of any role in this. I'm not absolving Jason Tatum in any role of this because I think Brown exacerbated it with his comments. He could have just let it slide. You know, pride's a tough thing to deal with. I know that myself. Jason Tatum, when asked about it, just like scratched his head and stuff. I mean, you couldn't know that you were going to be asked? Maybe like think of something that you could say that supports your teammates. Just I don't know. I don't know if we have the exact answer, but that's I think that's pretty good replication of the audio right there from Jason Tatum getting asked the question. Is Jaylen Brown ticked off that he's not on Team USA? Seems like it, but we don't know. Again, like I said, people protect their sources. People protect the information that they have close to them. That's the reason why they get the information, because it could be manipulated and spun. And all we know are a few perspectives out there where Stephen A. looks like he's right. Of course, he's going to go take a lap and pat himself on the back because that's what Stephen A. does. Was Jaylen Brown not really feeling being on the Olympic team? We don't know if that's actually the case. That could be the case, right? Could the Olympic team have just selected Derek White? Very possible. Could there be an issue here with Nike? Very possible. Is he too outspoken? Possible. I'm going to support my team, though. I mean, I know that USA Basketball a long time ago, it wasn't like Tayshaun Prince on one of the Olympic teams. They kind of said, like, hey, we need depth guys, too. You know, the world needs ditch diggers, too, Danny. So it's not always going to be the stars. That was the thing that failed them in a bunch of Olympics, having just a star-laden team. I'm not saying Jaylen Brown can't assimilate to that. I am saying that there's a number of factors where this probably isn't that big of a deal, but it's getting blown way the bleep out of proportion again. And the Celtics are becoming the Patriots. Where, you got a good thing? You got a good thing? Let's ruin it. How about it? Let's just have fun, knock ourselves out, and ruin it. And then we'll see how it is when the dust settles. I was looking forward to the next few years of Celtics basketball. I still am. Are we going to enter training camp where there's a rift in the team? Yeah, the guys didn't handle it all that well. Maybe they need a little PR training. Maybe they don't care. Just win, baby. All right? I don't care if Jaylen Brown's on Team USA. I support Jaylen Brown. He's one of my favorite players on the Celtics. He has been for a long time. We know that Jason Tatum has been handpicked and fed to us. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but he was the chosen one here. He gets Team USA. Jaylen Brown can be miffed if he wants. Is there some sort of conspiracy? I don't know. But I don't really care how anybody feels in this whole matter right here. I just care about that they're going to come out in September and October when it's training camp time and be ready to kick ass again. 617-779-0985. Sylver and for Murray. We'll be back after this.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.
Bam, bam. Jump up and down and move it all around. Shake your head to the sound. Put your hands on the ground. Something like I don't know.
One step left and one step right.
One to the front and one to the side.
Clap your hands once and clap your
By the
hands
third time that it plays, there's people are getting angry. By the fourth
mutiny,
time,
maybe.
By the fourth time, we're leaving the bar.
Oh, I miss when you used to be able to take control of those touch tunes machines.
Oh, just put in 10 songs of your liking, and just the next hour, which will just go by quickly, and you'll never remember how it was because you're, inebriated. But boy, was it a good time. And the, digital camera photos that would come out of those touch tunes experiences. Lot of ones with me yelling. Wonder what I was. Maybe I was yelling out Mambo number 5 or the trumpet. That was a big one in the summer of '99. Sean Sylver in for Joe Murray. Skaz alongside Christina, as is custom on Mondays.
The trumpet.
There it is. That trumpet. It's like Alex Bohm. It's not bomb, it's Bohm. The trumpet. He's playing his trumpet all the way to the second round of the Derby here. But, where was I? Joel Embiid. He's under my skin, and not in a Frank Sinatra way. He's under my skin. Does anyone else have a problem with Joel Embiid? I have a problem with Joel Embiid. Apparently, he is American now. And I don't have a problem with that at all. He says that he takes inspiration from Hakeem Olajuwon, become a naturalized U.S. citizen so he could be on he became a naturalized citizen in 93, and then he was on the Dream Team 3, which was in 1996, if you recall. 92 was Dream Team 1, 94 was Dream Team 2, which they did for that international tournament, and 96 was the Atlanta Olympics, and Hakeem was on Dream Team 3. That was a big deal right then because the U.S. added, again, no one was messing with the U.S. at that point, really messing with the U.S. in basketball. But, just because it's so fun, you added the best center in all of basketball, even when you have Shaq in the mix or David Robinson in the mix or Patrick Ewing still in the mix for the American side. I mean, Hakeem Olajuwon was the 2-time champ at that time, MVP caliber player. You add him to Dream Team 3. You have a good time. But Joel Embiid, a little bit of a different story in his route to get here. And I'm not going to hate on anybody for wanting to be a part of America. If that means that much to you, then it's great. Fantastic. Manny Ramirez running around the outfield with an American flag. Great. Fantastic. But Joel Embiid wanted to be French. If you go and you just Google it, Joel Embiid wanted to be on France. In fact, in the 2020 Olympics, which were held in 2021, when France beat the United States, Joel Embiid tweeted something in French in support of the French beating the United States. In the most Joel Embiid way possible, he is out here shopping for a country to play basketball for. And I understand, right? It's Olympic basketball. It's a little bit different from these other sports where the athletes don't really get paid hardly nothing, like water polo. You see the thing about Flavor Flav jumping on with the water polo team?
I thought that was tremendous.
Fantastic. We should see more of that as those ladies play their hearts out in water polo for a paltry sum.
Flavor Flav, he was getting some shots, and he looked all right out there. Better than I would doing. I feel like water polo, that's no easy task.
Flavor Flav, a guy who will never cease to surprise you. You don't think there's anything there with Flavor Flav. You think he's just a hype man who wears a clock.
Flavor of Love, one of the great reality television shows of our time.
An all-timer. His romance with Brigitte Nielsen, just captivating television.
I Love New York, one of the great spinoffs of our time.
I don't know if I was as much on board with that, but she bothered me. I was more of a hoops guy.
Oh, so was Shaq. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, Shaq was a big hoops guy, on and off the court.
Big. Big oops guy. Oh, man. But Joel Embiid got French citizenship and then within months got American citizenship too. And Boris Diaw and the guys from France are pissed at Joel Embiid because they thought that he was trying to be on the French national team. He had declared his intentions. And now he's here, and he's not even playing well. You know that my tolerance for Joel Embiid is about a 1 out of 10. This summer it has become 0. Because you know what? Joel Embiid is on Team USA. He should be on France, frankly. Let him play on France. And maybe let Jaylen Brown in there on Team USA, and we've solved the whole thing. We've solved the entire thing. But no, instead, Joel Embiid is finding another way to annoy me. And his team's not even that good, and they're going to stink with Paul George, too. 617-779-0985. I know this is risky because I've already played a real game with the clock tonight. But let's take a couple calls here before we hit it. John in Boston on the Red Sox. John.
Sylver Fox, what's going on? Love the show. Hope you do a lot of work on this summer because, I think you're honestly one of the best, one of the funniest.
John, I appreciate that.
I do want to talk about, no problem. I do want to talk about, Alex Cora, and, he's got to have some frustration going on with, upper management, knowing that, especially that he's a free agent at the end of the year. But if he were to walk into the office of John Henry and he was a wrestler, what do you think he would say to John Henry?
Thank you, John. Is he teeing one up for me?
Sounded like a little soft toss right there.
Is he teeing one up for me? I think he would say a little something like this. I think he would say, first of all, he'd knock on the door. John Henry, open up. It's the Macho Man Alex Cora, long-tenured manager of the Boston Red Sox. Your team, Been in that dugout and I've been working my ass off getting this team to respectability, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. And I'm not feeling the same coming out of your pockets, Your wallet is pretty fat, all right? And you're not using it on the kind of things that I enjoy, okay? I would like a nice, shiny utility infielder. No, I would like a starting pitcher, an ace, perhaps. Yeah, that's what I'm going for, John Henry. John Henry, you put your John Hancock down on a big fat check right now. You extend my contract, all right? You do that right now. I need bodies. I'm not talking about bodies I'm going to elbow drop. I'm not even talking about a body count. Leave that for the man on the street interviews, all right? Miss Elizabeth, that's the only one you need. I need bodies on my bench. I need a right-handed hitter. I need a pitcher. I need bullpen help. Get it done. I'm going to go up to the top rope. Drop the elbow on you, 1, 2, 3. That's all there is to it, all right? Bone saw's ready. John Henry, I got you for 3 minutes in this meeting. 3 minutes of playtime. Something like that. Something like that. Skaz thinks Alex Cora's out. And you know what? There's nothing indicating that he would stay here unless the Red Sox make some sort of improbable run. Credit to him for putting them in position to do it. Credit to the players for pulling through this year. The stats aren't even gaudy other than the speed and the pitching, which has leveled out, and Rafael Devers' line. But the Red Sox are the just win baby team. Quoted Al Davis a little too much tonight. All right, let's get John. John in the car. Sorry, Skaz.
Hey, guys, how we doing?
I'm well. How are you, John?
Good. I think as the Sports Hub turns, soap opera writers are on overtime with the Brown and Tatum thing. You can try to create this, but not you personally, but like Felger and all these guys, you try to create some kind of turmoil because they're bored about talking about baseball. But there's no story here because they're both signed. They're going to be both there for 5 years. And I don't think McHale and Bird really got along when they played. There's tons of, I just think it's a silly soap opera. These guys should go right for Ryan's Hope because it just, it's beyond, it really is kind of like so phony and manufactured through the Felgers of the world that, but anything for that. I got a better soap opera for you guys as the sports upturn.
Okay.
What about if the Red Sox called California and kind of tried to talk Mike Trout, like Kevin Garnett, into coming to the Red Sox?
Whoa.
That's a good. That isn't bad.
That's something. John, thank you for the feedback. For one, yeah. No, it's funny. If you could have, I could see it. I could see Felger in this meeting here. If you could just throw some ideas at a wall, much like we, see the throwing of the pens at the big board, and just come up with a plot for something that's going to happen to the Celtics when they're at their apex. Yes, turmoil over Team USA selections.
I disagree with the fact it's manufactured. There's nothing manufactured about Jaylen Brown tweeting at Nike and basically, I'm not afraid of you and your. It's a story. This is a real story. Does it have anything to do with Jason Tatum? Personally, no, I don't think so.
No.
But you can't say that the story is manufactured.
Jaylen Brown's upset and hasn't really, handled it. Personally, I'd love to hear his side of the story. But we're not going to, because that's just the way that things, information is currency in this business, and we're just not going to. So the speculation will be rampant.
And how about Mike Trout's games played since 2019? 2019, 134 games. Since then, 2020, shortened season, 53 games.
That was almost all of them.
2021, 36 games.
Oh, boy.
2022, 119 games. 2023, 82 games, and this season he has played 29 games.
So basically he's the Kevin Durant of Major League Baseball players.
It's a disservice to Kevin Durant almost.
Well, Kevin Durant, who couldn't stay healthy, but everybody
MVP.
Everybody wanted to trade Jaylen Brown for him.
And Finals MVP though, Kevin Durant.
Mike Trout could have been a World Series MVP if he was on a proper team, any time in the last 10 to 15 years. But yeah, maybe a disservice to Kevin Durant. But everybody wanted him in Boston instead of Jaylen Brown. Yeah, there's a guy who can't stay on the damn court.
Yes, I'm glad we don't have to do the Bradley Beal discussions anymore.
Oh, love Bradley Beal. But yeah, the discussions, not exactly. Not exactly. Oh, boy, 617-779-0985. Yeah, I got some lines open. I got a special call that maybe we'll get to on the other side here. Sylver in for Joe Murray on a Monday night.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
FM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub.
A Beasley Media Group station.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, MLB Home Run Derby. We've reached the semifinal round. And now is when we start the bracket. Alec Boehm versus Teoscar Hernandez is one bracket. Jose Ramirez, Bobby Witt Jr. the other. Looking for a scintillating... Who are we going with here? Skaz, Christina, who you got?
Bobby Witt has already won, so I'm going to go with Bobby Witt.
Wait, he won?
He won that round. He's in the finals.
Wait, how many did Jose hit?
I think he hit like 12.
So you're going with Bobby Witt?
I'm Bobby Witt.
Better than Boehm or Teoscar? In the final, okay. I'm going to go with Bobby Witt, too. You know why? We need a fresh young star to start stepping up to the plate here. That's why. And plus his dad was a pretty good pitcher back in the day. Christina, you got a pick?
I've been out of the baseball loop for a while, so I don't know it all.
But a guy named Boehm hitting bombs.
Boehm hitting bombs, I like that. I'll
Bombs
go with that.
for Boehm.
Bombs for Boehm. I'll go with that.
All right,
Put me
we're-
down for bombs for Boehm.
Bombs for Boehm. Bombs over Baghdad. What else we got going on tonight? Team USA basketball team beat Australia in a friendly by all of 6 points earlier today, 98-92. Celtics later this hour. The Summer Seas taking on the Lakers. Their Sports Up headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Sean Sylver, Boston's Over Sports 98 by the Sports Hub. Your final update at 10:30.
If you've got the app, you've got Toucher and Hardy to wake you up no matter where you are.
Or who may or may not have been to jail.
Get the app. The 98.5 The Sports Hub app.
Beard oil. It helps kind of keep the beard soft. Red Sox win. 98.5. See you in 30. We want a rally we want. We want.
Oh, yeah. What does the fox say? What the fox say?
I got to think of a dance to this that isn't like mid-2000s internet meme Numa Numa guy.
Like Jersey Shore fist pumping.
Well, that was this, right?
Yeah.
You have like that going, that thing. You know, Numa Numa guy was this, right, or something?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I'm past my expiration date on coming up with a brand new dance, the Cupid Shuffle.
Oh gosh.
My kid's bringing him home now from camp. He's 6.
No.
Dad, can we play Christina in with me? Sean Sylver here. You there? Christina alongside. Skaz behind the glass as we enter the 10 o'clock hour here. And Joe Murray's hanging out on Joe Murray's lawn right now. Hope I'm not killing the grass. But yeah, he said, Dad, can we play that song about, I would have been married a long time or something? I was like, teaching you Cotton Eye Joe at camp? Yeah, Cotton Eye Joe.
Cotton Eye Joe.
The next one was, oh, goodness gracious.
You said the Cupid Shuffle, and you've also got the Cha-Cha Slide.
Yes, Cha-Cha Slide was one.
Yeah.
He's like, can you play the one where they tell you like the directions of what to do?
And Wobble is a big one, too.
Well, all right, we hadn't done the wobble yet.
Yeah.
There have been no dabs. The other one that was brought home was the Macarena.
Okay, all right.
So he's like, what about the one where you like put your hands on your head and you put your hands on your hips? And I was just like, yeah, that's the Macarena, kiddo. All right, let's get these all out of the way. So good times. But we're here in the Foxhole tonight. Skaz reminded me, I don't know if I'd actually like talked about this on the air. I probably did because I probably had to get something off my chest. And let's face it, I get an awful lot of shifts at odd times of the year. So, sometimes we're just kind of bringing it to you. But a couple of years ago, I was in a car accident. Everything was fine. Obviously, I know that car accidents can be very serious. But I was on a local road where a tractor trailer was driving down a local road that literally wasn't even 2 lanes. It was like it narrowed into a 1-lane road, and all of a sudden I see a tractor trailer coming the other way, and I was like, what is going on here? So it basically treated the driver's side of my car like it's just a personal bowling alley. Just went right down and carved a long line in the side of my truck. I was fine. But little stupid car accident this weekend. I guess that's 2 in the last 3 years now for me. Maybe some people have been getting lots of accidents. I certainly know family members who tend to attract lots of car carnage. But you ever go on a ferry, Christina, to go somewhere?
No, I've actually never been on a ferry.
Never been on a ferry. So you've never been to one of the Martha's Vineyard in Nantucket?
Haven't. No, that's on my bucket list.
All right, I got a bucket list item I want to talk to you about too. Skaz, ferry guy, taking the ferry to go somewhere?
Yeah, high school sports. We used to take the ferry over to Nantucket in the Vineyard.
Yes, I would make the same trips back in the day. But anyways, if you're in a passenger vehicle going over, which I am with my 2 kids, because it's not like we're going to walk on and walk off with their little legs. We'd never get to where we're going. So we took the car and we're in the line to get on. And the lines, you're taking the vehicle on the boat. There's like lanes,
right?
And 1, 2, 3. They're all numbered. So anyways, we're sitting there. And this car pulls ahead in the lane next to us, and all of a sudden just starts backing up.
Oh my God!
All right, this is a one-way situation here. If you're getting into a lane, you are parking here to sit and wait to get on the ferry. You are not backing up. Not only did she start backing up, but she starts heading straight toward us. And she wasn't exactly like booking it, but she wasn't going slow for someone who was backing up.
Oh my God!
In the middle of a parking situation. And I thought it was a lot worse than it could have been, or a lot worse than it was, because they not only hit us, but they barreled into the car behind us.
Oh no!
And that car sustained a ton of body damage.
Oh my gosh!
We got out with just scratches. Anyone ever had a stupid experience where someone has hit you while driving?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep. So I work early mornings at Starbucks inside of a Star Market. And so it's like 4 o'clock in the morning I'm driving to work. And I don't know if you know Somerville very well, but I'm getting onto McGrath Highway from Highland Ave. And
Sure.
it's 2 lanes. Lady just sideswipes me, not paying attention. So then we pull over and I'm like, what just happened? And she's like, I don't know. I'm so sorry. You could tell she was like half asleep. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm just trying to go to work. Now I got to go to work, call the insurance.
Sure.
I'm just like, why?
And
why me?
The people on the boat could not, with the insurance thing that you mentioned, the people on the boat could not have cared less. This must happen all the time.
I guess
it's like,
so.
we're trying to exchange information here. We just had a car accident.
Yeah.
Like, again, the people behind us, like, they're probably thousands of dollars of damage to their
I
vehicle.
bet.
And it's like, no, you need to get on the boat or you're not going. And it's
Yeah.
just like, okay, you can't give us like 5 minutes and delay the ferry like 5 minutes. You're going to make it up when you're out in the open water. I don't know. But anyways, there was that. And then I returned home to find that the groundhog had its way. And you mentioned that, we've had some gardening mishaps with some pests in recent years. I have had a family of rabbits this year. We chose, and I know Skaz is a gardener too. What did you bring in that was so delicious one year?
Last year I had an abundance of sweet potatoes. It could have been that. I don't know. This year we got zucchinis. Way too many zucchinis.
Way too many zucchinis. I might not need to hitch up for some zucchinis because all of ours are gone after this weekend.
Oh, you can have them.
The groundhog.
Well, I put the fence up for the rabbits. They were into the cut flower garden. They weren't into the vegetables. And in fact, we have 2 raised beds. And neither of them had ever attracted any critters before this year. But the rabbits were in the cut flower garden. I was like, no, enough. Get out of my zinnias. We're putting up the fence. Put up the fence. No problems with the cut flowers. But the vegetable garden, I'm looking last week, right before we go on this trip, and I'm looking out the door, and all of a sudden I see a groundhog lumbering along. And we live on a main road. So it's like this groundhog, I found its burrow. It's right near the road.
Oh, wow.
So, I'm not going to go out there and kill the groundhog, right? So I was like, okay, let's get more fence. I had an abundance, that just, former landscaper, I had a ton of this stuff just hanging around in my shed. So I fence it up. We go away for the weekend. Apparently groundhogs can climb.
Oh, God.
So now I don't know what's going to be happening here. I've been told that you can like put pet hair out by their hole and they will relocate because they will sense a predator.
Huh.
I've been told they don't like mint. I've got mint growing on my property, so I'm thinking of cutting some mint. I've sprinkled that stuff that's supposed to like get them to go away.
Right.
That smells like hot peppers or poop or whatever. I forget one of the two, maybe both. But I will take any and all gardening, getting rid of groundhog tips at 617-779-0985. But I heard that the critters have discouraged you.
Yeah. So for the longest time, my boyfriend and I, we used to do vegetables. We did like cucumbers, spinach, peppers, and we had just like a little section of our yard where we had chicken wire, and it was pretty high.
Yeah.
But the bunnies were just...
The bunnies jumped over the chicken wire?
Right over it. Right over it. So it's a lot. So we were just like, yeah, that's enough.
I've heard some will
That's
burrow
enough.
under. That you have to like put the chicken wire into the ground.
Yeah, and we had a
because
lot
they're
of
big
babies
under
this
it.
year, so I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want. I love them. They're so cute.
I know.
They're
I know.
so cute.
I can't. I can't. And my kids now, like, I'm one of those people. And yes, I'll out myself as being being one of. But like, I don't kill bugs. I don't even kill bugs.
I do. Like spiders, I'm terrified. I squished one the other day.
I pick them up, I take them outside. So
No.
now, like, my daughter goes to the trampoline park with her grandparents to just go bounce and jump. And she sees a bug on the floor of the trampoline park, and it's just like a raging rainstorm outside. So my mother-in-law comes back, and she's like, "You'll never guess what your daughter did. She saw a bug coming across the floor. We had to take it outside in the rainstorm."
Oh, my God.
Like, in the middle of this, trampoline park that was probably playing Mambo No. 5 with neon lights.
She's like, my dad taught me to take it outside.
There we
I
go.
can't kill it.
Well, take it outside. But yeah, that just a couple of things. A wild weekend. You go to visit friends on the ferry.
It was certainly a wild weekend, for sure.
Well, for sure. I mean, I was just going to stick personally, but they say that deaths come in threes,
Yeah.
right? But we had Skaz reminded me we had Shelley Duvall, Dr. Ruth, Richard Simmons,
And then Shannon.
and then Shannon Doherty all over the weekend. Of those four, do you have a particular
So
connection
I have
to
a
any?
funny story with Richard Simmons. So he used to have a gym in Medford. My grandmother used to take my mom.
Was the Slimmons? Is that what
I
they
don't
were
know
called?
what it was called. I don't remember what my grandmother used to tell me. But so he used to visit his gyms a lot. So my mom was in there with my grandmother, and she happened to meet him, and he was like, "So, what is your like power breakfast? What do you eat for breakfast?" My mom goes, "Oh, I have ice cream for breakfast every morning." And he screamed and walked away. And my grandmother was so embarrassed because my mom just told the whole gym that she gets fed ice cream for breakfast.
Ice cream for breakfast?
Ice cream for breakfast.
I can't
yeah.
hate on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably have once or twice.
Yeah.
Like think of like a nice, like a strawberry shortcake would be a real
Oh, that
nice.
sounds so good. Yeah. But yeah, with Shannon Doherty, that was really sad because I grew up watching Beverly Hills 90210 and
Charmed
and all that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Charmed. Yeah. Powerhouse.
Now
WB
I have to
show.
go binge watch it. I have to find out where it's streaming because I love Charmed.
Powerhouse WB show. I saw that. I was in. Oh man, where was I? I was somewhere up in Andover. I was in Andover this spring. I was getting pizza. It was a very good pizza place. I think I left them a Yelp review because that stuff is important.
It is important.
I know. A very positive Yelp review. And Charmed was randomly on.
Oh, yeah.
The TV in the restaurant. And my kids were like, "What's this, Daddy?" It's just like, well,
one of the best shows ever.
this is the 90s. This
Alyssa
is,
Milano, Shannon Doherty,
and Holly Marie Combs.
Yep.
How could you forget? Before we get out of the climb out of the foxhole here, where you have made yourself right at home and acquitted yourself extremely well, is a pleasure to have a visitor of your caliber, Christina.
Thank you.
Do you have a favorite Nicktoon?
Favorite Nicktoon? Oh, this is so hard.
If you have to think about it, I'll let Skaz chime in too.
All right. So favorite Nicktoon, probably I think we were discussing earlier. I'm gonna say, so like as an older, like 8-9 years old, it was Hey Arnold. But if we're talking about like when I was younger, I was obsessed with Blue's Clues. I had my 6th birthday party was all Blue's Clues themed. And then I was so disappointed when I found out the blue dog was a boy and the pink dog was a girl. I was so confused. I was like, wait, what?
But I thought Blue was a girl.
No, yeah, so Blue is a girl, and the
And
pink dog
Magenta
is a boy.
Oh, I thought Magenta was a girl too.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's the opposite way. So
All right.
I was always telling everyone, like, Blue's a boy. Like, no, I was wrong.
Skaz, you a Ren and Stimpy fan?
Yeah, Ren and Stimpy probably a little bit before my time, but yeah, I would say like Doug growing up.
Doug was
Hey
good.
Arnold, Cat Dog.
Oh my God, I forgot about Angry
Wild
Beavers.
Thornberries was a big one in the Scaramuzino household. Yeah, Rocket Power. Rocket
Oh my
Power was
God.
probably number one back in the day.
Rocket Power. The slang word on Rocket Power that I learned was shoebies. That is when you wear socks with sandals. That was the word in Rocket
I guess
Power.
I do shoebies a lot then.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm 41.
I do
and
too
really not
now though
concerned.
because I wear my slides with socks.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
that's different, but kind of the same. I was kind of out, so I'm looking at the Rugrats releases here.
Oh, yeah.
Doug,
Rugrats, too.
looking at the Nicktoons releases when they were premiered. Doug, Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy were the first three in 1991.
Ren and Stimpy was good.
Joined by Rocko's Modern Life in 93. Real Monsters, I
Yeah,
really
that was
liked.
good, yeah.
I think that's an
Gosh,
underrated
I
one.
forgot about all these.
Hey Arnold in 96, and that's kind of when I was out.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm like
yeah, because I was
13,
born in
14 years
'92,
old,
so I was 4 years old in '96.
Okay. So then we're talking like Kablam, Angry Beavers, Cat
Yeah,
Dog,
Angry Beavers was
Wild
so funny.
Thornberries, SpongeBob, and Rocket Power. All these were past my time.
See, I was so out earlier when we were talking about SpongeBob. So my brother, he's 10 years younger than me, and I swear I've never watched a show more in my life than I did SpongeBob. I couldn't. That's all he ever wanted to watch was SpongeBob.
So you're out on
I'm out on the what Sandy Bottom.
Sandy Cheeks?
Sandy Cheeks.
Was that
yeah.
it? Sandy Cheeks?
Sandy Cheeks
Yes,
movie. No thanks.
Sandy Cheeks.
Yeah, no thanks. I'm good. SpongeBob is. I've had enough of that for a lifetime.
All right. So we have. I think I would vote Doug. Seems like Skaz is down with Doug.
Doug
although
is good.
Rocket Power might have been your late.
Yeah, I would say Rocket Power number one.
Rocket Power number one, and yours was
Me, Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold. That's a good choice.
Hey Arnold, and then Angry Beavers.
If we could come up with a consensus pick here between Doug, Hey Arnold, Angry Beavers, and Rocket Power,
I'd go Hey Arnold.
I would go Hey Arnold.
Yeah, Hey
too.
Arnold.
Yeah.
Hey Arnold, football head
Football head.
for the win. There
and
we
what
go.
was the girl that was obsessed with him? I can't
Helga.
remember. Helga.
Helga
Right?
Pataki.
Oh, she had a whole closet
A
full of
shrine.
yeah.
And yet she was so mean to him.
So mean, but that's what happens when you like someone. You're supposed to tease them. That's the whole gimmick, I guess.
We're about to be wandering into that territory with my 6-year-old in the coming years. I am
Yep.
certain of it. All right. Christina, thanks for joining.
Thanks
Skaz,
for having me.
Thanks for your Nicktoons input as well. She'll be here all summer, folks. Dean College, about 10 minutes from my house. Right where.
Oh, and my sports bucket list, just to end off.
Yes.
I'm a diehard Steelers fan. I need to make it to a Creasier Stadium. That's my bucket list.
You know, that would be cool. I love Pittsburgh.
I've never been. I want to go so
I
bad.
love Pittsburgh. I know you're not really a baseball fan, but that baseball park, I've been to all of the
Yeah,
MLB
my
home
boss
teams.
just went. He said they're all great.
That's the best one. I have
Yeah.
not been to a football game there. I was there for a wedding once, and I was there on like a football Sunday, and
Oh,
the vibe
cool.
was immaculate, but I did not have tickets
Yeah.
to go to the game as well. But Pittsburgh's a cool city.
Yeah,
Like,
I've wanted to go to just visit too.
Take the incline. The
Yeah,
little
I've seen
tram
that.
that like,
Oh, it
runs
looks
up.
so cool.
And, just the viewpoints and looking out over the rivers and the bridges. It's
Yeah.
pretty. People are generally friendly. Good food and brewing
Yeah,
scene.
I need to try
like-
the sandwich.
Yeah, the Pimenti brothers, or
yeah,
what is it?
yeah, that's exactly what it is, yeah.
Primanti?
Yeah, Primanti, thank
Primanti
you.
brothers. Yeah, no. Oh, good times at Pittsburgh. I've been 3 times. It was
Yeah,
it's a
I think
lovely
it's
place.
on my bucket list for this year. I want to go to a Steelers Ravens game.
Yeah,
That's
that would be good. That
that's-
would be a real good one to
Yeah.
pick. All right.
I hate the Ravens.
Let's see if you get there. 'Cause,
I'm gonna try.
I'm going to need an update on this.
I'm gonna try.
All right. 617-779-0985. That's the Foxhole for a Monday, July 15th. We'll be back. We'll finish this show up. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
bit of that. But the Cherry Poppin' Daddies had a big hit in 1998 with Zoot Suit Riot. And they wound up, and I know this because I was just flipping channels one day, they wound up on the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. And you know what? When they sang the chorus, which goes, Zoot Suit Riot, Riot, throw back a bottle of beer, the censors came out. So it went Zoot Suit Riot, Riot, throw back a bottle of Zoot Suit Riot. They just blanked out beer. You can't talk about beer on Nickelodeon. You can have a band called Cherry Poppin' Daddies on Nickelodeon. But you can't mention a cold and frosty beverage. My goodness. Yeah, there was a swing in. All right, Friends, the show Friends. Thumbs down from Christina. She would probably be one of those people who says it's overrated.
Never watched it, really.
Okay. I was one of those people who said it was overrated until I actually watched it, and now I think that maybe it's slightly overrated, but I think it's a good show. Chandler learns to swing dance for his wedding to Monica because it was the late 90s. That's what you did. Anyways, what do we got here? We got one more segment?
Sure, why not?
You sure? Should it be two?
No, we can do one more.
Are we on track for one more?
We have 2 breaks left. We'll break here, and then we can either break again or break at 55 and call it a night.
I'd rather stick needles in my eyes.
We did have Mr. Shaughnessy on last week, and we played that very drop as he was sitting next to Joe Murray when he said that.
Wait. Dan Shaughnessy was in last week?
No, he was on the show. He was on. He called in.
Via telephone call.
Via telephone.
You got Dan to call in?
Joe and Dan. Dan is a fan of Joe Murray. Joe Murray reached out. Dan was very happy to oblige. We were very thankful, and he was tremendous.
That is cool.
Giving us some info on Wick and the Red Sox. It was great stuff. And yes, we played that very clip you mentioned where he says Joe Murray will be here for 5 hours. I'd rather stick needles in my eyes. And Dan, still same sentiment, I believe.
Oh, sure. Yes, I remember the early days of the Sports Hub where Dan was a part of the fabric of this station, and we get that legendary exchange there. All right, we'll do one more segment. And no needles in eyes, no Cherry Poppin' Daddies necessary. Sean Sylver in for Joe Murray here on the Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. We call them the Joe Murray Pre-Party. It's Felger and Maz afternoons right now. Joe Murray on the Sports.
Remember going to the mall. Trying to think of what I got at the mall for albums. I think I got Offspring Americana and Goo Goo Dolls Dizzy Up the Girl. Potentially. I think I definitely walked out of there with the Offspring CD. I think this is like pretty fly for a white guy era. And my friend got the Aguilera CD. It's like, what's going on, man? It's just like, I don't know. I'm really digging this. You know what? It became a song of the summer. Played a lot in the vehicles. It's a good jam. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Should have gotten to this like hours ago. JP and NP.
Sylver, you know I'm loyal, my man. 50 minutes, I sang everything from Mambo Italiano, all the hits by Voodoo Daddy. I've been singing Kid Creole and the Caroline was a dropout. Every song I could think of, Sylver, that you mentioned. But I'm here for you. Thanks for getting to me.
Oh, of course.
We'll go quick, Sylver. First of all, you forgot the creepiest cartoon of your guys' era, Cat Dog. That one used to freak the hell out of my kids.
I really don't know. It was half cat and half dog, right?
Right. It was a little creepy. It was up there with Rocco's Modern World and all that, but it was a little before its time. Let's just say it was a little weird one. But we'll drop that. You know, Sylver.
Yeah.
These Celtics fans forget those lonely Sunday nights when you had to finish with 3 callers on a Sunday night after a Celtic lost in the playoffs. They shouldn't complain. Brown's coming out with a friggin' vengeance. Let him dunk over everybody next year with the attitude. I don't care. Put him on, don't put him on. Should have been there. You know what? He's not there. Let's move on and come out strong next year. That's all we need.
And he'll be fresh too, JP. I mean, that's the one thing that with all of this, right? Some people are like, oh, look, the Celtics just went through that grueling playoff run, and now they're going to Team USA, and they're going to do that. Jaylen Brown's going to be well rested. He will be ready for whatever.
Durant's got the old ass knee, and Bede is going to the buffet. These guys are they're gonna look out of shape. They're not gonna play. They're hurt. They're whiners. Brown is coming. I like Brown with an attitude. Just don't let him go to the plants. We can't let him water the plants over the summer. And finally, I was going to bring it up an hour ago, but okay, if he's still in the studio, I got a question for the Macho Man, Randy Savage. You're talking top 5 of all time. You were part of NWO. That was a great fivesome. But if you could pick 4 other guys with you in the ring, who's the Macho Man taking? I know you're number 1, but give me the 4 guys that you're on Mount Rushmore with you.
Wow, JP, this is a good one. Thank you for the call, as always. A pleasure hearing from you. All right, do we got a conjure? We got a conjure here at 10:46 in the evening? All right, let's do it. Here he comes.
Ooh, yeah. I don't know. This is a really tough question, JP. Really tough question. You're telling me that I need like a Mount Rushmore of sorts of wrestlers who would be alongside the Macho Man, or just guys who, I would have in the ring? If I was forming a Survivor Series team of 5 wrestlers, yeah. All right. We're doing Andre the Giant, yeah. That big stinky giant, he'll step on you and squash you like a bug. A lot of people out there get a problem because they might say that Hulk Hogan should be on the team, and Hulk Hogan is a no-good, dirty liar, yeah. Don't come anywhere around Elizabeth, yeah. No Hulk Hogan. Let's see. Probably, I don't know. This is hard.
I'd take Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels, yeah. I was going to put him over, yeah. I was putting him over in the 90s, yeah. See, I had a big plan. I was going to wrestle Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 10, and Vince McMahon said, no way. And I said, all right, I'm hitting the highway. I'm going to WCW. Heartbreak Kid. Andre the Giant, the Heartbreak Kid. Oh, obviously my brother, the Genius, yeah. And, we gotta go with Stone Cold Steve Austin, yeah. We could have a beer bash afterwards. Or maybe you can invite Kurt Angle. We could do milk. Everybody's getting milk. Man, I am on fumes. I am on fumes. JP calls in, lobs a softball the Macho Man's way. And the Macho Man he can't produce a coherent answer. We have another one. David! Another North Providence call. David, what's up?
How you doing tonight?
Doing well.
How you doing tonight? I just don't want to bore you with Red Sox, but I just want to add one thing for the Red Sox.
Not boring at all. Go ahead.
They drafted a kid, Brandon Montgomery, #1.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I looked him up and I did some research on how this kid can play. Oh my Lord, they hit the lottery with this kid. This kid should have been like maybe 5th, 6th, or 7th. He broke his ankle. That's why he went to 12. This kid's a switch hitter. He weighs about 220. He plays the outfield, and he's got power. And from the left side, he's got some serious power. And I think they hit a home run here. They're going to pay this kid like $5 million on a signing bonus. That's the first thing I wanted to bring up. The second thing is they're 4.5 back. They have to pick up a pitcher.
Yes.
They have to spend the money and get a 3rd or 4th starter because this is getting ridiculous. So I'm just going to listen. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Yeah, on Montgomery, I don't know too much about him. Other than that, he was the 8th-ranked prospect in this draft by some calculations, and he wound up going 12th. So, again, you feel like he got value, right? He's a guy who had some good college experience, so that's good too. Maybe not so much of a project, but you're still talking about a guy who's not going to be up with you for a little while. So add him to the mix. I mean, your outfield looks promising for the future right now. With Duran, Abreu, Rafaela, I guess, profiles out there naturally. Maybe he's going to be the shortstop of the future. Maybe he'll be back in the outfield. I'm not exactly sure. Between Duran and Abreu, maybe you'd want to add another power bat out there for the future, long term. Would it be this kid? It's going to be a little while before we see him. Yes, he is getting over $5 million there. So, you get what you pay for, certainly. But again, the Sox have a trove of prospects, right? And this guy is another. They're obviously not going to deal him right away, right? But you've got a bunch of outfield prospects. You got a bunch of middle infield prospects. You can't keep them all. So go out and get a pitcher. I'm with you 1,000%. And frankly, for me, go out and get a pitcher with term. Go out and get a pitcher who... Wait, is this tied? Is it tied at 11? Or did Teoscar hit 12?
He hit 14 in the extras.
He hit 4. Oh, you count the extras.
So Bobby Witt's got to hit at least 3.
In the extras. Okay. This is what happens when you put your head down. His helmet came off with that swing. Or hat, I guess. It's a big hat. Surprised nobody's wearing a bucket hat for this. Those are coming back. Those were big in 99. Those are coming back around. Skaz, do you have a bucket hat?
I cannot say that I do.
Christina, did you have a bucket hat? The one that looks like you're wearing a pail on your head.
No bucket hats back here.
No bucket hats. There's a woman wearing a hat with a wide brim. But I would love to see a pitcher come in here who you can get some years out of. Whether it's Garrett Crochet, apparently the Yankees are in on him. Why the White Sox would give up, someone who's got some years left on him. I mean, maybe they're just looking to strip it down to the studs here. And, they would get rid of Garrett Crochet, who's going to be there for a couple more years, and just get some prospect who you won't see for 3 or 4 more years. I don't know. But the Sox need to get somebody who can be around for a little while. And that's going to be very, very important to me, because it's all about
Your direction is upward, and you get nothing out of this being a one-year thing. 2021 was fun, right? But you got nothing out of it because you finished in last the next 2 years in a row. If this Sox team is on the come right now, you got to add a pitcher who's going to be here and be here with Crawford, be here with Houck, be here with Bayo. And you don't really know what Bayo is yet, but just kind of give you some footing in your pitching staff. No more Garrett Whitlock in the starting rotation. And Josh Winkowski and Colton Cowser or Cooper Criswell or what, I always get the two of them confused. He's at 14. By the way, no, he's at 13. Is he 13 or 14?
13.
13. By the way, this thing taking like 3 hours.
I'm very disappointed because we can't play the national anthem.
This thing taking 3 hours. Out on the home run derby. That 99 home run derby, that thing was 2 hours tops, if that. 3 hours for the home run derby. Baseball took pains to make the game faster. And now the home run derby took nearly 3 hours, for God's sake. Teoscar Hernandez, your winner. We go out on that. Do you want to go out with the national anthem, Skaz, to play us out?
I don't know if I want to do that to the people. We've had a relatively positive show.
To play us out? What do you mean to play us out? There's no words on that thing. All right. It's been a show. I'm done. The home run derby's done. Everybody enjoy the All-Star game tomorrow. See ya.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
Hey, it's Felger here. Whether you're headed north to the lakes and mountains or down to the Cape and Islands, grab an iced tea or lemonade 8-pack from Surfside or try new green tea and vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes. Surfside iced tea and vodka. Sold at bars, restaurants, and package stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka. Sunshine in a can. Must be 21. Enjoy responsibly.